will not be disappointed. Book directly with them for the best rates. Book your stay today at 800-257-8550 or visit them online at grandhotelcape.com. And our next live show is Friday, September 6th. So book your stay today, grandhotelcape.com.
I am Judith Krupnik, president of Cherry Hill Volvo. I drive an absolutely fabulous XC90 hybrid, the best of both electric and internal combustion. It's really an incredible Volvo. We are offering a $15,000 discount when leasing any 2024 XC90 hybrid in stock. If ever an XC90 was on your list, now is the time to visit Cherry Hill Volvo. $15,000.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano for my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz and the Bentz Dental Group. His state-of-the-art facility makes your dentistry as easy as can be. Recently, they had a permanent tooth put in. And you know how it is. In the past, you bite down, it's too high. It's always too high. The back and forth getting it just right. Well, not this time. With Dr. Bentz, it fit perfectly the first time. Call the Bentz Dental Group now, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com, 610-272-6949.
What if I told you your home movies are already past their prime? It's true. The magnetic tape used in VHS and camcorder tapes only lasts between 10 to 20 years, which means your baby's first steps, weddings, and family vacations are fading away as we speak. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box stops this fading process in its tracks. And by preserving your recordings, they're safe forever. Legacy Box is simply the best way to preserve your past, which is why they've been trusted by over 1 million families. Your memories are meant to be shared, not chewed up by the VCR or worn away with time. For a limited time, you can convert your tapes to digital for just $9 a tape. There's never been a better time to convert your entire collection. That includes film reels and photos too. Visit legacybox.com/value to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/value to unlock our $9 offer. legacybox.com/value.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
That's Tim Walsh. Oh, man, Mr. Joyful loves the commie Chinese so much. He's helping them with their police station. I know people hear that all the time. They think, what the heck is that? How are the communist Chinese having a police station in the Twin Cities? We'll play that for you from Peter Schweitzer, all-time investigative reporter about walls, and how he compares Tiananmen Square to some things in America. This blowhard from the plains, right from the beginning, has set me off. But I want to start with his top of the ticket here. Now, this is insidious, and can they get away with it? I have Michael Watley today, and I'm going to ask him a lot of specific questions because I'm getting a little tired of how the Trump campaign is going. I know that President Trump is going to talk about the economy at 4 o'clock today. I want to see the strategy, though. Here's Harris's strategy, Dan. As we predicted the other day, we can go back. You know, sometimes we predict a lot of things. I may have predicted I would easily throw the football 40 yards. When I meet Ron Jaworski, that'll become a reality, Dan. You'll be able to check that box. That's happening on Thursday at the Big Whales event.
Oh, yeah?
I am. I'm bringing a football, just so he knows. Robin will let me. I'll throw a football 40 yards across the banquet hall.
You think you or Jaworski can throw a longer ball?
Oh, Jaworski.
Oh, okay.
I mean, come on. He was a former NFL. He's
a
a Polish rifle. I'm the Italian pop gun, but that's okay.
Italian pop gun. I love it.
I will fulfill that. But my prediction was this. She is going to play on her Larry Krasner-like background as a DA to pivot into everything. So the first big issue she thinks she had to dismantle, she thinks she's done it, is illegal immigration, the border. What did she do? Pivot point. I was a tough prosecutor. I went after the drug cartels, drug gangs, and all that. Based upon the research I've done, that's very limited. Here and there may have been somebody that she did prosecute. But she checks that and then pivots toward, and I would have voted for that tough immigration bill that Trump did not. And at that point the other day, when she was engaged in that, I didn't know that on Friday she's going to give her first major policy speech. Put in extra salad bowls. The word salad is going to be incredible to start with. You know, where she says inflation is tough. People are having trouble with groceries. People can't get eggs, and on and on and on with no payoff. Well, the payoff is going to be, I predict, a pivot toward tough prosecutors. So I went back and I looked at, here's a headline. Attorney General Kamala D. Harris announces $500 million nationwide settlement over price-fixing scheme. In other words, she said that her office went after big TV price fixing of flat screen panels found in monitors, laptops, and TVs. She joined in settlements by other attorneys general against all kinds of Japanese, Hitachi, some that I can't pronounce, all kinds of, I think Panasonic, and there are all kinds of TV companies. She's going to lean into, I'm a prosecutor, and there are going to be more than one target. One is going to be corporate America, the Snickers bar, grocery store items. Are people going to buy that? They're joyful. They might. Two, she's going to go after unscrupulous landlords who are just raising rents because they feel like. And three, the old favorite of leftists, she's going to go after big pharma, the drug companies. So what you're going to get, supposedly they're billing it as she's breaking with Biden. She's going to omit all this macro talk. The economy's doing great. Look at all these big numbers and these big things. And she's going to address the kitchen table issues. Now, she can't, really. They did this because of pumping $7 trillion into the economy. They devalued the dollar, essentially. That's how you get inflation. And she's against energy. She's against fracking. She's against fossil fuels. I'm not sure. I don't have a sense yet of the spin she'll put on that. But this is going to be a big deal. So here's the playbook for Kamala Harris. And Trump hasn't even come close to dismantling this yet. Come on, you got to face reality here. It is able to be dismantled. She's going to lean into, I'm a prosecutor. See, this is the badge of honor. I prosecuted corporate America. Corporate America is responsible for what you're paying at the grocery store, drugstore, high rents. I don't know how
you said it. The rent is too damn high.
I remember that guy when he ran on that.
Oh, great
yeah,
beer.
he was at a couple conventions. So will that work? How do you dismantle it? I'll pick the brain of Michael Watley. I'm going to, we're friendly to the RNC, of course, but I'm going to ask him a specific question about Trump today at 4 o'clock. He's here at 12:30. And how do you dismantle it? So this is a better campaign than Biden. She's leaning into this phony DA/Attorney General to say this is the solution. Now, the only solution, not the rate of inflation, but toward inflation at this point, is a period of time, lessening regulations, getting the government out, and unleashing America's energy. I don't know that anybody else can tell you anything else you can do that is going to get us somewhat moving towards some reality as far as grocery store prices. Now, there's better news today, even though goofball Steve Ducey, that guy is, Dan, I can't.
The deuce.
He spoils watching.
Dropping deuces.
I feel bad for Lawrence Jones and Brian Kilmeade particularly on that. They got to deal, let's face it, they got to deal with Ainsley and they have to deal with Steve Ducey. I don't know which one's worse. Stepping on stuff in their way. Let's get them out of the way. But Ducey today, here's what he said. He was celebrating today. The just-released Consumer Price Index cut 11.
All right, we've been waiting for this number. Fox News alert, a key inflation report just released. July's Consumer Price Index shows inflation is up just 0.2% from June, which is about what economists had predicted. And year-over-year prices are up 2.9%, which is slightly less than expected. This is the lowest since March of 2021, just a month or two after Joe Biden took office. Taylor Riggs. Taylor, good morning to you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, this is really good news for all of us because we want to pay less.
Yeah, so I think the good thing to think about this is prices are rising. They're just rising at a slower rate than when they were a few years ago. But unfortunately, it means that your prices are still going up.
All right, and then she went on to talk about some things not affected, Steve, by this. She talked about all kinds of auto insurance and other things that are completely not affected by it. All right, so it is slightly better. But remember, already baked in, don't let them, like Steve Ducey and these others, fool anybody with this, and Harris, already baked in by these years of the Biden inflation are those numbers. They're going to try to tell you that we are seeing something different here and that inflation's going to go away. So watch for this with Harris. I mean, it is, she's making the right political move. She's basically distancing herself from Biden, going to admit how this hurts people, et cetera. And then, rather than address what really is, she's going to hope that people, remember, Bob Casey's been trying to do this. Is she going to be more skillful? Well, the media is going to be more on her side. That's right. She was a prosecutor. She's going to go after those people. Big egg, big French toast. They're doing it to you. Don't listen to the Republicans. Don't listen to common sense. So is that going to work? People listening right now say, yeah, that's what I always believe. It's price gouging, I tell you. Way out of line. And what is price gouging, by the way? If people don't want to pay it, there's an alternative there. So she sued people. She went after people. Just as we predicted the other day, everything is going to go through this phony criminal background, criminal prosecution background, which is almost non-existent. She did go after, though, corporations who provide products, et cetera. I just told you the one price fixing. So it's going to be interesting to see how people react to it. Today at 4 o'clock, Trump getting ahead of it, talking about the economy. Trump's going to have to drill down and be specific on these things rather than rambling. This is false, what she's selling, but it's the right political move. And with the media now, well, without further ado, though, speaking of joyful, boy, do we have some good stuff today. Let's turn for analysis to the king of Jersey. That would be the delightful, joyful, hairful.
He's back?
The king of hair is back, and his hair looked like Miss Kim today must have applied extra buffing up somehow or another. It looks like some waxing going on there with the king of hair. Here's Governor Murphy on CNN
All the work
today.
is still nothing done to the teeth.
Oh, come on now.
Is that like a trademark, or what's he going for there?
You know, Dr. Bentz, I have to do analysis. How about that Dr. Bentz yesterday, Dan? We have a commercial today, so I'll get into the tooth part.
Yeah.
But he was good enough. I said, I need a medical doctor up close. He looked at my golf ball thing there, and he said, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Even though it looks clear now, he could say, I know, I could see the black and bluing, and I could see the indentation of the ball. I think he identified
He's trying
it.
to Ken a little bit.
I think Dr. Bentz speculated that it was a Titleist.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT.
Does that look like a
to go see
Titleist
that.
to you? I'm not exactly sure.
I see the logo there, Dom.
Yeah, he's a golfer, and I warned him about this, and he said he was almost hit once. What did it feel like to be hit?
On a serious note, though, like my teeth aren't great. I got a snaggle tooth up front, but if I could afford a villa in Italy, I'm probably going to get my teeth fixed. I don't get why Phil Murphy just continues moving. Never mind. I don't want to.
No, I think you're right. I mean, he's only there 2 weeks a year, and it's $7 million.
Call Dr. Bentz.
Call Dr. Bentz. Come on, doctor. Hey, I got Phil in the chair. Would you like to come over and sit in the other chair? Yeah, I'll be right over. I want to see. I want to see the follicles up close. Okay. All right, here is Governor Murphy on CNN today, the king of hair, saying that why should she do interviews? She's spreading joy. Those interviews are not something that spread joy. Here's Murphy.
Elon Musk wrapped this conversation with Donald Trump, saying this in part, that he thinks the country is at a fork in the road of destiny, of civilization, and I think we need to take the right path, and I think you're the right path, he told Donald Trump. Not a hard-hitting interview, but as Trump made the point to say he is doing interviews, Kamala Harris has not yet. Do you think that is becoming a problem for for you all supporting Kamala Harris, in that it's not just a scheduling issue?
You won't be surprised to hear I had no time for the Musk-Trump interview, so I can't comment on any content. But no, not at all. I think she's had an extraordinary several weeks. Tim Walz is an inspired pick. She's on a roll.
Inspired. You sound so inspired.
He has said she's brought joy back into the whole arena of politics. There'll be plenty of time to do interviews. And God knows one thing about last night, without having heard it, that was no interview. So when she does interviews, she'll do it with real journalists like yourself.
Yeah! And CNN. Come on, Phil, real journalists. There's plenty of time to do it. And then we hear, 80 days to the election? Plenty of time, and early voting starts pretty soon. So, my goodness. All right, I'll save more of Phil Murphy here, particularly Murphy. Well, let me play this now, Dan. This will be cut 5C. I'll skip over B for now because I was just talking about what she's going to try to do on Friday. And look, politically, if I'm on the other side, I got to tip my hat to say, yeah, she's doing exactly the right thing here because the media is going to let her get away with it. But we told you she would lean in constantly to the phony prosecutor. Does she want to prosecute the people that actually caused inflation? That would be Biden Harris. Listen to Murphy, though, about what we should talk about when we talk about inflation.
Have been dogged by inflation, have not felt good about this economy. What can be the message for this Democratic ticket to turn that sentiment around?
It has to be, we've got your back. We understand your pain. It's real. Let's forget for a minute talking about abstract macro numbers. Let's talk about what it costs to buy eggs, milk, gas, the rent on your apartment, whatever it might be. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. This ticket has been talking about we're on your side. We're committed to cost of living, getting it back in line. It's an incredibly stark contrast across the entire spectrum of policy, but especially in the economy. The Harris-Walz team is a middle out, bottom up, and you've got the classic top down, which we know has never worked on the other side. So I think that they will be committed to making sure folks, middle America knows that they're on their side. The numbers today are kind of the best of all worlds, the so-called Goldilocks result, meaning that the inflation is about what folks guessed it would be. Had it been lower, there would have been fears of increased fears of recession. Had it been higher, there would have been decreased likelihood that the Fed would cut next month. I think given where it came out, the Fed will cut. The only question is how much. That will be a very good step, not just in the macro reality, but that ultimately will impact the kitchen table.
Hey, lady at CNN, all with the blonde hair in the morning. Could you interrupt there? Is there anything that says we can have a conversation? What specifically are they going to offer to eat away at inflation? And the answer is nothing. You heard Murphy. We got your back. Now, she's going to be more creative. And we'll have Watley on in a little bit. I'm going to ask them their theory on how to disentangle this idea that she has people believing she was a tough prosecutor. I'm going to prosecute people, and that's going to mean eggs will not cost as much at the grocery store.
Just want to add another wrinkle because I screwed up there on the cut sheet. That last cut we just played was from Willie Geist over on MSNBC. So the guy Murphy's actually doing a tour. So it wasn't Kate.
He doesn't have blonde hair. He's even a lesser light. She's better than he is. I think she would have jumped in and said, but I'm not hearing here specifically what's the change in policy to do this. The biggest is energy. We all know that. Cutting other regulations is the way to go. They don't want to do that. So they want to prosecute people. This is Bob Casey as if he's a prosecutor, if you can imagine. All right, we got a great side question today. I love it when stuff like this comes up. Because yesterday, Dan read from Roe a great text about the manly art of hailing a cab, a taxi in New York. Oh, it's a man's world. There you go. That's perfect for this. And Alan called in and said, yeah, that and changing a tire, there are some manly arts still out there.
Yeah.
So in 2024, and this will be fun because Dan and I might be off on this, that it's still true. Maybe we have something that used to be considered manly.
Yeah.
Now it might be considered just out of step. I'll give you one, Dan. And I'll give you mine. I think bulky, muscular is not in vogue in the way that it used to be. It's more having a body that's ripped than muscular.
Yeah?
That's a change. I mean, I'm almost definitive on that.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Women today, they're attracted to what's called fry cook chic.
Right.
And it's that like Pete Davidson kind of like very skinny, jaunty look. Machine Gun Kelly.
I don't think so. Oh,
allegedly,
my God.
that's masculine, yeah. Neck tattoos and face tattoos as well.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
you're banking on that. I think that's
Fry
a very
cook
limited.
chic.
That's a very limited. I think if you're cut more than muscular, that's. So I'm willing to concede that change.
Also, apparently dad bods are in now.
I don't think that's the case either.
Yeah,
No.
so I guess I'm in that
All right,
category.
I'm going to say chest hair.
Oh,
I know
I
I'm
got
taking
that.
a bold step. I'll be challenged on that.
I'm
Some
a
women
man's
don't
man,
like
huh?
that. Yeah, there you go.
Jeez.
Let's open up those shirts, guys. There we go. All right, what do you have?
So we're looking for something masculine?
Yes.
A beard. Something you need to grow
Okay.
for the Don Trump Jr. event.
I'm working on that. Yes, I think if I'll save whether or not I'm doing. I'll give an ultimatum before, depending on the number of people that show up. I think I'll grow a full beard. Yes.
How about an entire new masculine industry that's come out of nowhere? The self-grooming industry, such as manscaping and Harry's and...
Yeah, I'm not seeing manscaping as masculine.
Are you
but-
manscaping, Dom?
No, but it's a provocative answer. That's what we're looking for.
One more, Dom. I want to
Yes.
go outside the world of, grooming and such. How about NASCAR? I think that's a very hyper-masculine type
Yes.
sport. As is, I think it's changing to a degree, but one of my favorite pastimes of all time, pro wrestling.
Definitely. How about NFL football?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of females are in that, but that's still a man's world.
Is it?
I think. Yeah, I think so.
We got to watch ourselves here, Dom.
Yeah,
Media Matters is going to come after us strong
We're
today.
getting on the edge here saying NFL football.
Stereotypical gender roles
Yeah.
in the Giordano program.
855, chest hair was talked about. There was a manscape. Oh, we like that.
Man's
at Media
World, Dom.
Matters.
Barbie, masculine. 2024.
Yes. So hit us with something that might be counterintuitive or intuitive throughout the show. That's today's side quest. And I love it when it kind of comes from a listener or something we were talking about. Coming up, we'll play you Peter Schweitzer, who's all over this. Yesterday, it was Waltz and having cops fire paintball guns at people during the George Floyd riots to make them go into their homes. And John, one of our top cops, texted me repeatedly yesterday, what kind of cops are they? I would never take that order. You're right. That's an order that's out of bounds. You can't be firing paintballs at people because they're on their porch. Are you crazy?
I mean, as much as some people might want to, no.
Yeah, I mean, this idiot. But apparently, his Red Chinese connection is even worse than we thought. Schweitzer, the guy that exposes all these politicians and their financial dealings, got a lot on Waltz and Chinese police stations. Why would America not push back on Confucius centers and Chinese police stations? Yeah, there actually are such a thing. All right, phone lines.
They were doing a great job of, doing the side question on air, but on Twitter, I want to make sure to word it, the right way. What's something that's still masculine in 2024?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And you might be wrong. We might think, oh, that was right on the money. Maybe it's provocative. There'll be a debate over this one. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on Talk Radio 1210.
Just go sleep. Turn the water. Shade off bed.
Get ready for Phillies baseball.
Swung on, hit high in the air, left field. Verdugo going back to the track, at the wall, looking up, it's gone!
This Thursday, the Phils host the Washington Nationals at Citizens Bank Park, and you'll hear them here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Mar swings and rips it into right. There's a base hit past the diving Turner. The Phillies, with a 4-run frame, now lead it 5-0.
Phillies baseball, Thursday night at 6:05 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows. And you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to InvestorSchooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to InvestorSchooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's InvestorSchooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at InvestorSchooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to InvestorSchooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to InvestorSchooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey, Clementon. Yeah! We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
'Cause I'm just fine.
All right, Dom Giordano show. We're getting some good ones on Twitter. Things like cigars.
Oh, that's a great one.
Harleys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, maybe
yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
Harley's DEI now.
Yeah,
maybe you got to take that one out.
Indian motorcycle.
Indian motorcycle.
Yes.
Here is Peter Schweitzer. Now, this is the guy that's written several bestsellers on all kinds of politicians, the money trail, foreign governments, the communist Chinese. Listen to what he says in this setup. He summarizes Tim Waltz's stance on China. Then part 2 we're going to play you. Waltz is fine with a secret Chinese police station. What are Chinese police stations? Well, it's the commie Chinese government. They police their own nationals here. What? Just think about it. This guy doesn't want to police his own state, but he wants the communist Chinese to be able to go and rough up anybody that's a dissident here. All right, here's Schweitzer last night on Fox laying out walls and the communist Chinese.
This is on Breitbart.
Breitbart, okay.
So in 2019, for example, he is now a governor of Minnesota, and he chooses to give a speech to an organization that going back 30 years has been recognized by both administrations, Democrat, Republican, Obama administration, Clinton administration, others, as a front group for the CCP. And yet in 2019, he goes and gives them a speech. And whenever he talks about China, it's with a lot of warmth. And whenever there are issues raised about its human rights situation, there's always, we had the same kind of thing. We had the same problems.
Wow.
The most famous one he did in 2010 was talking about the Tiananmen Square massacre when 10,000 people were killed by the Chinese military. And he said, we had Wounded Knee. Of course, Wounded Knee was in the 19th century. Casualties were, maybe 1%. It was a horrible situation. I'm not minimizing it, but to compare Wounded Knee with Tiananmen Square is kind of the ridiculous kind of comparisons that he tries to draw to sort of normalize CCP behavior.
Now, that's a tell. Anybody that when we were attacked on 9/11, for example, says, oh, what about what we did over here? You know it, and I know it. That's a hater. That's a hater of traditional America. That's what this clown is. Tiananmen Square compared to Wounded Knee. What? Think about that. Well, what about us? What about America? Well, then why do you want to be the president and vice president then of such a rotten nation? No, this is the guy that we need to have a news conference and some interviews with. I'm telling you, Dan, I'd be breaking out into a sweat 30 seconds into it with this guy. And I think, take that camo hat off. God. Part 2. Now, this is the Chinese police stations Schweitzer talking about in the Twin Cities.
There are, you've heard reports, I know you've talked about it, the secret police stations that the Chinese have here in the United States. These are unofficial. There are 7 of them, and they're set up to intimidate Chinese that are living in the United States. One of the 7 is actually in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. And the organization that runs that secret police station is tied to a group called Minnesota Global, which is a Tim Walz organization. Now, Tim Walz in 2020 and since 2020 has talked ad nauseum about the abuse by the police, the Twin Cities police, the local Minneapolis police, about their terrible behavior with regards to how they arrest people. I have not found one criticism that Tim Walz has had of this Chinese secret police station that's operating in the Twin Cities. So again, you have to wonder, why is there this disconnect? Why are you so critical and brutal on your own country, but you won't do a scintilla of the same thing as it regards to China?
My God, how is this guy potentially a heartbeat away from the presidency? Just my goodness. It doesn't even take a whole lot to ferret this stuff out. Chinese police stations yet attacking our cops when they're not under orders to fire paintballs, apparently. All right, coming up, we're going to talk with the co-chair of the RNC, Michael Whatley. President Trump economic remarks today at 4, Kamala Harris Friday. I want to know, how do they counter this DA stuff that she does, prosecutor stuff, again and again, and a bunch of other stuff. We'll take your calls, too. Something that's still manly on Talk Radio 1210.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Great. Maxed out cards, rent is due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
We should do what my brother did. He went to GetCash.com and got $3,000.
With our bad credit?
GetCash.com is different. They're one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope. My brother said it was fast and easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan of up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account as soon as the next day. Our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history.
Great news! I went to getcash.com and we'll have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to getcash.com. That's getcash.com. Getcash.com.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Or the joy of early bedtimes? And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
When their world isn't safe, they need someone to notice, to wonder and worry, to be their voice. If you suspect child abuse in any way, report it. You can be their hero. Your call can change their world.
Report suspected abuse by calling 1-800-932-0313 or visit keepkidssafe.pa.gov for more information. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
It's the start of another school year. Get your child or grandchild started off right. Special tutoring and custom instruction is available from METC, the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. Now is the time to call Kathy Ganna and help get your child out of the gate strong. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
Tomorrow's 640 Phillies Nationals game can be heard on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Phillies are on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT tomorrow.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
The pleasant mid-August weather pattern continues through the rest of the work week. Mixture of sunshine and clouds today, warmer but not humid, high 87. Tonight, mostly clear, comfortable, low 68. And for Thursday, another warm day but still not humid with some sunshine and a high 87.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Don Giordano show, so it gets even more interesting. Friday, VP Harris is going to lay out how she's going to tackle inflation. The secret sauce, she is the only one in this. She tried this with Pence, too, that has ever prosecuted anybody. That's her go-to. How do you counter that? Well, we also have making national news, Pennsylvania Secretary of State's office saying we're probably not going to have results on election night / election morning. What? Why did they put that out? Well, joining us is RNC Chairman Michael Whatley here on Talk Radio 1210. Chairman, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. So today we see the president economic remarks, Harris on Friday. I know that the campaign is putting money into showing us ads about what she was really like as Attorney General / DA in San Francisco. This is her tactic, though, and she's going to try to use it on inflation to sue corporations. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the biggest thing that you've got to point to is the fact that she is the one that cast the tie-breaking votes that unleashed the inflation, which have brought about 20% increases in housing prices and grocery prices and 50% increase in gasoline prices. So I would like to see her explain why she cast those votes. When we look at all of her flip-flops across the board, whether it's on guns, on the border, on inflation, everything else, you've got to ask yourself, is this because she's now saying that everything that the Harris-Biden administration has done for the last 4 years that have hurt American families was wrong? Or is she just pandering to the voters because there's an election coming up?
Well, let me ask, though. So are you discounting? You don't think the voters are going to buy what I even started to sketch out the other day, seeing what she said on the border? She prosecuted drug cartels and all. She's saying we got to prosecute corporate America, unscrupulous landlords. You don't think that pitch is going to work on Americans?
Look, I think at the end of the day, every single family has been affected by the crisis that we are seeing right now in our economy and this inflation, which is absolutely spiraling out of control. And the answer is the fact that the Biden and Harris administration has unleashed federal spending way beyond what we needed to be. Even President Obama's economic advisors have said this is the root cause of the inflation that we are dealing with. She has always fared poorly when it comes to conversations on the economy, and President Trump has a commanding lead in the polls when it comes to the economy because they know that the root cause of this is their government spending.
We had on yesterday, Chairman, the people, the Trafalgar Group, that we have a lot of faith in as pollsters. From 2016, they called the race right for Trump. And they're in the camp that thinks the campaign should be spending a lot more now to define Harris rather than squirreling money away. Maybe not you, but the PACs. So what's your theory? When is it better to go after her? Because it seems, with the media help, she's relatively undefined at this point.
Yeah, and we're having that conversation right now. I think that when we talk about the president's approach to these conversations, it's policy-based, but it also is defining her based on her policies. You know, when you think about it, she is the one that was the border czar. She is the one who led 47 different actions by the Biden-Harris administration to dismantle the most secure southern border that we ever had and invite 10 million illegal immigrants into the United States, bringing the scourge of fentanyl and migrant crime with them. She is the one who has cast the tie-breaking vote on inflationary spending. She is the one who stood up Benjamin Netanyahu when she threatened Putin and said, do not invade Russia. He invaded 5 days later. That she is the tip of the spear on so many things that have put America into the ditch. She is not going to be able to turn around right now and say, oh, look at me, I am for a strong southern border, and I'm going to bring down inflation, and I'm going to lead America, onto the world stage. So we're going to continue to pound on those substantive issues, and I think that everybody in this campaign understands where this election is going to come down to.
In the Pennsylvania Department of State, and you're the go-to guy on election integrity, that's one of your major points par excellence. What do you make of them putting out this guidance the other day after all the money that was put into this and all the caution? It provokes election conspiracy stuff saying, well, we're probably not going to have a result even at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, look, I think that we need to get all of those ballots in. We are fighting right now all across the country to make sure that the mail-in ballots are in by Election Day, that we can go ahead and have these counts and we can know clearly there is a formal counting process called the canvass, which is, not for a couple of weeks after the formal election. But we need to know where these votes are, and we need to have an accurate count. So we're going to be working very hard in Pennsylvania and around the country to make sure that we have a fair, accurate, secure, and transparent election.
Parting area for Chairman Whatley, Waltz, the governor of Minnesota, has to be the gift from heaven. Today we're talking about Peter Schweitzer, who's very credible, his love for the Communist Chinese Party and allegedly a Communist Chinese Party police station in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, this guy is straight out of central casting for the Democrat Socialist Party. He is a West Coast wannabe, and he has certainly done everything he can through his tenure as governor to move Minnesota over to the West Coast. This is a guy who has said that he wants to invest in a ladder factory to help get illegals over the wall. He has actually turned Minnesota into a sanctuary state, provided free health care, free college tuition, and driver's licenses for every illegal immigrant. This is a guy who watched as Minneapolis burnt. In fact, his wife bragged about they opened up the windows at the governor's mansion so they could smell the burning to celebrate the moment. And he refused to call in the National Guard for 4 days, despite Donald Trump offering all the assistance. He turned it down, and then, kind of bragged about that moment. This is a guy who has put tampons in boys' bathrooms and is a social radical at every level. So, yes, I think that when we look at him on this ticket, it clearly shows that Kamala Harris has doubled down on radical. She's found an ideological soulmate, and she refused to take anybody that would even moderate that ticket or steer it towards the middle.
Parting area, Chairman Michael Whatley, RNC. Where do people go if they want to volunteer and help out with the campaign in any way?
Excellent. So we've got two websites for you. If you want to help get out the vote and make sure that we have all the votes that we can across Pennsylvania, TrumpForce47.com. If you want to help on Election Day to make sure that we have our election integrity efforts fully built out, ProtectTheVote.com. And if you want to go to the events with President Trump and J.D. Vance up there in Pennsylvania, and I know we're going to have him up there on Saturday, that is DonaldJTrump.com.
Good stuff, Chairman. Thank you very much, as always.
All right, take care, sir.
Michael Whatley here on Talk Radio 1210. I don't know that I got a specific, Dan, and I want to hear more from the president today, specifically stopping this candidate from the credibility, supposed, of being a prosecutor, and she wants to prosecute for you. Those eggs, that guacamole, all that stuff, it's big guacamole, big egg. They're doing it. Not what he just said, flooding all that money into our economy, not crippling our energy, which drives up everything. All right, we're going to talk with Jeff Van Drew coming up, Congressman Van Drew, at that big hearing yesterday on fiberglass from these gigantic towers, wind towers, and what they do. You couldn't even touch them, they were told, with your bare hands. He's straight ahead. Hey, I've told you for years about my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, and the Bentz Dental Group. Now, yesterday, I had to have a new tooth put in. We're well on the way. And within a week, I'm going back on Monday. He'll put it in. I'd like to capture that moment just to show you how precise it is. There's no fooling around. Bang, you're in, you're out. That's it. Just think about that. You've gone through all this, and then they're still going around, I have to send the tooth back. There's none of that stuff. And if you have any kind of fear, anxiety about the dentist, that is a great area of pride for Dr. Bentz and his staff to take care of you. I've sent a lot of people there on that. So why not get that initial appointment? Check them out. Call Dr. Bentz's office. You evaluate him. He evaluates you and tells you what could be done long-term for your dental care. You're a partner in it. Go to BentzDentalGroup.com, BENTZ dentalgroup.com, or call them at 610-272-6949. BentzDentalGroup.com or 610-272-6949.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
We have a man who's a warrior, a great military person. Dave McCormick is a 7th-generation Pennsylvanian who grew up in Bloomsburg, went to West Point, and earned a Bronze Star for his service in the First Gulf War. Dave went on to an outstanding career in business, and now he's fighting for the people of this Commonwealth, and he loves this Commonwealth.
Conservative Dave McCormick.
We need new leadership. We need a new president in the White House that's going to get our country back on track. We need a new majority in the Senate that's going to be able to take our country in the right direction.
Dave will vote to secure your borders, stand up to China, unleash incredible amounts of Pennsylvania energy, and he wants to stop Bidenflation. David McCormick, you have my total support and my total endorsement, and you got to win. Dave McCormick.
I'm Dave McCormick, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Dave McCormick. www.davemccormickpa.com.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. Each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
All right, Tom Giordano Show. Welcome in. One of our all-time favorites, Congressman Jeff Van Drew, in an area that he owns now due to his diligence on this, and that is stopping what we've seen with Big Win, Nantucket. Very wealthy even. They didn't care there. Yesterday, they held a hearing in, well, I'm not sure which town. I don't think it was in Wildwood, in which I'm looking at pictures of the fiberglass that broke away from one of these blades, and they were told, don't touch this with your bare hands. Why? What's so bad about Big Win? Kids should be playing, those drawings that are out there.
Yeah.
These kids on the play gym, big wind turbines all around them. They're dancing around. They're joyful.
I mean, is it the same idea of like insulation where they have the fiberglass that you're not supposed to touch because it can get in your eyes and all that? Are we really dealing with that kind of stuff going in our waters now?
Yeah, Jeff Van Drew here on Talk Radio 1210. Congressman, welcome back. Why can't you touch the fiberglass?
Because it's bad for you, because you can get splinters and slivers in you, because when it shatters, there's huge chunks. I mean, these things shatter. They're like the size of a Boeing 747. I mean, it's large. I mean, this debris was washing up on beaches on the East Coast. So we had a lady who's a community activist that's against it there. She brought in a big piece, and you're right on the thing, do not touch, because not only are there big chunks, there are slivers that get in the water that are going to be in that water, and fiberglass doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't break down. I mean, it's bad enough when, you got oil in the water, but oil you can get rid of and it breaks down. This stuff's going to be there forever. And guess what? Well, we learned a couple important things yesterday. One of them was the design of these wind turbines. When they go through high winds, there's so much shear force that it's not going to be unheard of for them to break apart the way this one does. There's construction flaws with it. And when they've got high winds, much less a hurricane, remember.
Oh, yeah.
None of them have ever withstood a hurricane. They don't get hurricanes in Europe where they have them. They get bad storms, but they don't get hurricanes. So we're in for a really rough ride here if we have these things. I got to tell you, for the people listening out there, I've been around for a while, all the way from the local level as a mayor to a county level as a county commissioner to a state assemblyman, a state senator, and finally now as a member of Congress. I've seen a lot of projects, and I've seen some pretty crappy projects, to be honest with you, right? I have never, ever seen anything that is as bad as this in every single way possible. Unreliable source of energy, bad for the environment, going to cost us a fortune in utility rates. And on top of it, makes us more vulnerable because it interferes with our radar and is bad for national security, and is going to increase our utility bills many-fold, a lot, not just a little, not 5%, not 10%, not 15%, big numbers. And it's going to make us rely on foreign countries for our energy when we can be energy independent. I got to tell you, Dom, if you wanted just one more way to make sure that our country is never the same anymore, not the strong and powerful United States of America that we knew, this is just one more way that they are doing it. It scares me.
Well, I thought yesterday, to anybody who hasn't been on board now, Congressman, would see they did it off Nantucket, too, which is pretty wealthy. Or there are a lot of wealthy people there. So picture Ocean City. I wouldn't go in the water from what I've seen yesterday around stuff like this. I don't know that I'd ever go into any area where you have that. Let's talk about the campaign for a moment. Your thoughts on Friday, VP Harris is going to lay out her plan on inflation. What did you hear from thousands of constituents? Can she convince them, she's a prosecutor, she's going to go after price gouging, big corporation, big pharma, and she's going to go after unscrupulous landlords who are jacking up rents. You think people will buy that?
There will be a certain percentage. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, and I spoke to the president this morning. We're going to have to work really hard. You know what, I've said it to you before, Dom. The left wing is really, really good at this. And here's the playbook, and I know this playbook well. I've watched it many a time. First of all, it starts when they had a candidate, Joe Biden, that they polled internally numerous times, couldn't win. He was really going to lose. So what do? You tell him you're going to flip him out. He's got to go along with it, or they're going to be held to pay. And I won't go what the hell would have been in Joe Biden's case, but in my opinion, it has to do with the Department of Justice, because they've been protecting him and his family, and I think maybe some of that protection would have been gone. That's what I think. I don't have corroboration on that, but I'm on the Judiciary Committee, and I see and hear a lot. So he's gone. Put in a new candidate, but the new candidate ain't new. She's the same old thing. She's Joe Biden too, and worse, and should not be the president of the United States. But guess what? They're going to make her like she's a brand new person. The media is going to make her brand new. She's bubbly, she's cool, she's fun, she's exciting, she's going to go after the bad guys. And that's what people are going to hear and see on TV and television ads. There was an ad up for her just yesterday. I happened to see it. I don't watch much TV, but it was on, and the people who were there had Channel 6 on, which I pretty much don't watch. But anyhow, the ad was the home, how important the home was, where our family is, our parents, our grandparents, our children, and people should be able to live in a home. Well, damn it, Kamala, they aren't able to live in a home in some instances because you have to earn twice the income that you did 4 years ago when Trump was in to be able to afford a home. But they're going to put that out there, and they're going to have tons of money. That doesn't mean we can't win, but it means we're going to have to work really, really hard. And you remember me talking to you on the radio when Donald Trump beat the daylights out of Biden in the debate, and I was not high-fiving. Remember, I said this is not a time to high-five. So I knew what was going to happen, man. They do this locally. They do it at county levels. They do it at Senate levels. They'll flip out the candidate. If they do internal polling, it isn't good enough. We'll still keep going as Republicans with the same candidate. They will not. They'll flip them out. They'll give them a good job, some patronage, some other stuff. But that candidate's told they're leaving. They put in a new candidate who promises to be a centrist. That's what all of a sudden now she's going to be about faith, family.
Let me ask you with the president. We would never ask you to divulge, but I have a good sense of you, how savvy you are if you're on the phone call with him, maybe subtly telling him, hey, what you and I have just talked about is true. They had Biden there. He couldn't win. They didn't care about anything. They were going to get him out of there in some way, shape, or form. It's time to reset and pivot. She's beatable. You can't look at she's a little bit harder because of the media, but she's definitely beatable, very beatable.
And that's all true. And he knows both. He knows she's beatable, and he knows it's a new ball game. But I told everything you just said, I said to the president this morning. And, we're going to work with him, and we're going to do everything possible. And, I say to the people listening out there, this is not a personality contest, man. This is about the future of the country. It's about our borders. It's about the integrity of our military. There's a lot I wish I had, and I know I don't, nor do I want to do that to you. If I had an hour to go through issue by issue, foreign policy, domestic policy, our military, our cities, our borders. I mean, what we are doing to this country used to be subtle. It's not so subtle anymore, and it's hard.
Yep,
thank God.
Exactly right.
Musk
hey, well, look,
there,
you have carte blanche, though. I mean, just from the, particularly when it comes to scotch tasting and fitness. I've upped my fitness game.
I don't think Jeff's aware that today our question is, what's something that's still masculine in 2024? Scotch is indeed still masculine in 2024.
Hey, we had a good time, and we're going to continue to have a good time, and we're going to do this thing. We're going to do this thing, and we're going to keep America. But I love you guys. You get the message out there, and the thing, I made a lot of New Year's resolutions. Actually, I made 10 of them. So one of them was get back to my old fitness routine that I had done for decades, which I have. But the other one was to drink a little less scotch.
Oh, come on. We don't know about that one. Only when you're in Mulligan's.
Jeff, I don't know if you knew, but behind the scenes, me and Dom are definitely remarking about your fitness.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You got some arms on you, sir.
Exactly.
It's just, you know what? I got short, stubby arms. It's easy to do.
All right. Congressman, thanks as always. We'll catch up soon.
You got it. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, Jeff. Dan, that leads me to a question. For listeners, you heard what he said there, all right? He's giving us a sense. I know it's got to be difficult. You know, Trump shot, that's always a big win. You survive at the convention, looking at the whole world, looking at Biden over there. And they just ruthlessly tag in Kamala Harris. I mean, that's what's going to happen. It's got to be hard to reset. So what would you tell Trump? I just said through Jeff Andrew what I would tell him at this point. He's got to hear from a lot of people. Focus in. She's very beatable. Do not think, well, we know all this with the media. And we know what they did with Biden. And we know that she's avoiding interviews. That's all known. This is a game of inches, incrementalism. And in the end, she's incredibly beatable. Doesn't feel like that at this point. So, Dan, what would you tell Trump if you were on the phone call with Jeff Andrew? Come on the Dom Giordano show. That's a good point. I'm sure you would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, go on the Dom show. That's all you got to say. That's it.
All right, co-host it. Co-host it for 3 hours, and you'll get 100,000 more votes. All right, phone lines. Oh, do we have a guy at 1:30? Now, Dan and I sometimes disagree. Conspiracies usually.
Yeah.
We have a guy coming on at 1:30, the head of the police union, whatever it is out there in Vegas. The cops are going to refuse to provide security at NFL games, not because they're taking a knee, but because the NFL, big football, I knew this was coming, growing, wanting you to go to games, you have to check in through biometrics. Oh, yeah, Big Brother. Dan used to be on that side saying, what's the big deal? And all that cop information, Dan, will be shared with other NFL and God knows who individuals. Why can't cops come in and show their badge? Isn't that enough? No. The NFL's cooking up some deal here, I'm sure.
So I think that's where my line is drawn, maybe, because what we're talking about here is Gramis is angry about a new NFL policy that specifically writes that security officers' biometric data, their face, is going to be collected. It's required that they, submit that to essentially be working for the NFL.
Yeah.
It's kind of a force, if you want to work for us, you got to do this. But it's not if you want to go see a game, then you got to go through the gates kind of thing. I guess that's where
coming.
My differentiator
is. That's going to be coming.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying one's voluntarily, one's mandatory.
Yeah, well, I mean, the mandatory is coming. And I will give you my 100 reasons, not really, but I have several, why I despise the NFL. I don't care. You're going against America, Dom. You despise the NFL. I despise everything about them. Every phony thing they engage in. They got something that everybody wants. And they don't care. They do whatever they want. All right, so he'll be here at 1:30, but your calls are next. Don't forget the side question, 855-839-1210.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venaria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Venaria is and has been my dentist also. And doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Venaria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Venaria's office does everything. Dr. Venaria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit venariadental.com.
Inflation, recession, interest rates, the Fed. How do you make sense of it all? Join Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
When you
need to know. Depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts donated 300 air conditioning units for Philly schools. Montgomery County bathrooms will now be stocked with free tampons and pads. And 7-time Grammy winner Casey Musgraves posted a no-context video of herself and her friends singing "Here Come the Sixers" on Instagram.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt.
If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-649-6464 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at Archbishop Wood High School in Warminster, PA, Saturday, September 28th. For tickets, go to JoeConklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-790-1400. 800-790-1400.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
40 days to lose up to 40-plus pounds with NJ Diet. It only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to personalize supplements that will target your hormonal imbalances so you can lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep it off. Call Dr. T, 855-5-NJ-DIET, or go to njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds, 40 days up to 40 pounds, NJ Diet.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Okay, it is Dom time. Welcome in, everyone. 855-839-1210. Great side question today. Coming off this taxi in New York stuff we talked about yesterday. Something that's still considered manly by great numbers of people, including you maybe. Might be provocative. One you'd say we might go, I don't know about that.
How about head of lettuces, Dom?
Yes.
Belching contests.
Okay, and there was another guy even more grotesque.
Yeah, Marcus.
Yes.
Grotesque? I don't know. He said very kindly. What did he say?
Yes.
Cutting the cheese.
All right, you think that would have been a winner?
Yeah, I do think it would have been a winner. Someone calls in with that one? Sure.
Oh, God, that's where this is
Maisie
going.
refuses to do it in front of me. We've been together for 11 years now. I mean.
Oh, poor Maisie.
Yeah.
What we reveal here. Well, that's to her credit, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. I want an accountant who doesn't do that in front of me. That's good. Go to Maisie and you won't get that.
With the belching contest, Hedda Lettuce did redeem herself, though, said lumberjacking as well.
Lumberjacking is still seen as that. Okay. All right, so we got that going on. You've heard now Michael Watley. You heard Jeff Andrew with President Trump. What would you be trying to tell Trump to both pump him up, as Van Drew was, and he said, similar to what I said, yeah, this is difficult. This afternoon, he's going to talk about the economy. Again, I would focus in on, and I tried to with Michael Watley. Are there a number of people out there? Here's the thing. The border and inflation are two millstones. They're huge. Any reasonable person knows that that's a deal with the Biden administration. She's not going to completely get away with it, but she's trying to make the size of the millstone she carries around smaller. And that's what she's going to do on Friday. And the argument is going to be, now remember, Bob Casey's been making his same argument. Now just think about how tepid. Imagine a debate contest and your opponent is Bob Casey Jr.
Oh, yeah.
You start, you come up and you make sleeping remarks, that type of thing.
What did I tell you guys at the beginning? No booing or hissing.
Right. But with Harris, you have this whole media push, this history, this joyful approach. So it's more difficult. But she's pitching the same thing. The secret sauce, though, is, just as we told you with the border, that the media gloms onto as a talking point. Well, she's the only prosecutor in this. She said to Pence in the debate, how dare you say I'm soft on crime? I'm the only one that ever put someone in jail that's here for attacking young children. So you got to say, well, this is preposterous. When you get an opening like that from her, you got to stop and you got to make her blink and maybe come at you a little bit. You can't let that go. You can't let this go on. You got to stop with an how dare you moment. They have to be ready to deconstruct that. And one way to deconstruct it is to talk about the criminal mayhem she let go on as a Larry Krasner-like prosecutor and then state attorney general. That's one way to do it. But the idea, Walsh is trying to do the same thing with his military record. How dare you? I served 24 years. It's not that, it's you're lying about it. But you have to have a moment, you have to freeze it, and you have to be prepared that it's going to be hand-to-hand combat. She's emboldened by this. And when she, on Friday, unveils how she's going to be different than the Biden administration, she's going to say something like, the macroeconomy, great, but I realize the pain you're feeling, and she'll give a whole list. She'll talk a word salad for a few minutes. And then what are her solutions? That's where she'll come in. I prosecuted people like this before. They're doing it to you. Who are they? Big Ag, Big Pharma, and those landlords. Watch the landlords. They're the people I wonder how many landlords we have listening that and if we didn't have landlords, where would we be? I mean, it's just always this unscrupulous, out of control land. Not to say there are not some people that are engaging in that. But the idea, particularly in a place like Philadelphia, if you're a landlord, how difficult that is.
You said it, the rent is too damn high.
Right. And she, on day one, knows that. She's trying to say she gets it. Biden didn't. They were too busy giving you all these big economic numbers. I get it. You're paying too much at the grocery store, whatever. She has no solution to it because the two solutions are their fiscal policy, spending all that money, their regulatory policy, and then what they've done to our energy supply. Unbottling that, that's the way we're going to cut costs and get back to some level of sanity when it comes to grocery prices. We all know that. So you're saying, well, that's just easy. Just say that. Not as easy as you think. People want to believe that. People want to be along for this ride. Around the edges, she'll give some specifics, just like Biden did, screaming out about junk fees, this, that, and the other. They really don't get at the heart of this. They are not going to bring down grocery store prices or anything like that. In fact, they will add to it. It will continue to go down this path. All right, how do you counter it, though? You can know it. It's persuadables. Who's going to be persuaded by that? I'll see what Trump says at 4 o'clock today. We'll see how specific he's armed on this to reject where she's going. But that's her card. I was a prosecutor. You're not. And anything that comes up, she's going to go down that path. Now, you know it's coming. What is the counter? Now, remember, in dealing with this, I'm always aware of this in a debate. I look at the opponent and I say, what do I have to watch out for? Like it or not, she's a female. You got to watch out. In certain instances, the male's going to look bad. There are things females have to look out for in debates also. And she's a woman of color, Black and Asian. So you have to take that into account when pushing back on this. If you don't, you're going to continue to allow her to focus on that versus how deficient she is in any answer to any of this. She will just exacerbate it. There is no doubt. All right, 855-839-1210. Now we're going to bring on the head of the Las Vegas police, I guess. They are threatening to protest not working Raiders games over the NFL's new protocols, whereas Dan said their information will be shared with God knows whom out there. And I predict this is the NFL. So here's the question I would ask Dan. Dan, would you go to an NFL game if it were mandatory to check in?
The biometric stuff.
You have to do it biometrically. And I'm saying this is how crazed people are over this. Most people would go along with it. Would you?
Oh, man.
It's a free ticket.
Yeah, I think I would. I'd be one of
That's
the
an honest answer.
blind sheep going into it.
Yeah, I think a lot of Americans would. Is there anything the NFL can't make people do?
It's weird, too, because I refuse to put TikTok on my phone, but yet I'm one of those sheep that would do that exact thing, walk through it blindly and give all my biometric information to some kind of source. And
look at the what they make us do. If you want to have a seat, a season ticket seat at the park, right, you have to pay a seating license before you can even pay to have the ticket.
Yeah.
That's just
look. My whole stance whenever we talk these issues is I've always taken the stance that I think technological progress, particularly biometric data, is indeed inevitable, and us plebeians aren't going to be able to do much to stop it. But what we should do is we should have a discussion about it, an open conversation.
Okay.
That it is inevitable, but we, freedom-loving individuals should find a way that we get ahead of companies from China, from foreign adversaries, and set rules, set some kind of guidelines where it can't be used to take advantage of Americans. And I think when we run away from the issue and say, no, it's wrong, it's disgusting, and we don't accept the truth that it is probably inevitably going to happen, we are going to screw ourselves in the long run by letting China take advantage of us because we didn't see it coming.
All right. And my counter to this is, and my personality is always, I'm not giving in and giving up. So I admit that. That may be a human flaw. I think I have people on my side more than you think that the case can be made. They're going to say hell no on this. I'll give you an example of something happening that I don't think we have anyone against, Dan, and that's rare. I don't think you are anyhow. Starting next month, the Abington School District is banning cell phones in classroom. I know it's not the same thing. This just came down moments ago.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I see as a difficulty is how are they going to have kids store the phones? They're not going to do it school-wide. They're going to have in the back of the room phone bags that you stick like a shoe thing, where you would put your shoes in. You would put your phone in there and then retrieve it as you leave the classroom. Now, as a former classroom teacher of about 20 years, Dan, this is flawed. There's going to be mayhem around this and stolen phones and God knows what else. What do you think about it?
I don't think there will be.
You don't think so?
No.
You think kids will comply?
No, yeah. But why can't we enforce the ban in the sense that, we give the teachers the power and kids today still have lockers, right?
Right.
Like your phone's got to stay in your locker. If it's caught in class and you're sent to the principal's office.
It's
against the rules.
Right.
It's banned.
Yeah, or you keep it in your bag or whatever. You can't take it out.
I think it goes back to not wanting to allow teachers to police their students. So.
You know what? I like that angle just as much. So who objects to this? The only objection I have is you don't know what it's like to get kids in and out of a classroom on time and moving along. Going and getting cell phones out of a thing in the back and all, man. And to Dan's point, why not just say, hey, you can't have a cell phone out. If you do, you're going to the principal's office. You're going to be suspended. It's just that's it. That's it. Can't do it. Can't have it in the classroom. It's pretty simple. That's teacher authority. Yeah. I mean, that's what it ought to be, rather than you're going to put it in some area in the back of the room and Dan, the disruption of this. I mean, some of these kids come in rather late, anyhow. They're racing to the door, then they got to put the phone in. You're talking 10 minutes now you're taking out of a class schedule.
I want to focus on a new organization. My brother's signed up. He's actually the representative of his own school district. It's called Wait Until 8th.
Yes.
WaitUntil8th.org. And what it is, it's a pledge that parents are signing up for. And it goes around schools. And one parent kind of heads it in a school district. And what you do is you get parents to sign a waiver, sign a document that says, I'm going to have my child wait until 8th grade until they're given their phones. Because that's kind of been the scientifically accepted time when it's starting to be okay for kids to have phones, 8th, 9th grade, right? And allegedly, if 25% of students normalize this behavior of, phones being put away, it will, right now, there's a stigma against kids that don't have phones and such because they're kind of FOMO, the fear of missing out, they're left out of social situations. If you can normalize that by having 25% of students out there without their phones, that becomes a normal tactic and then grows and grows. So there are parents out there. WaitUntil8th.org. It's an organization that you can sign up for in your own school district and get that going as well.
All right, so 855-839-1210. If the NFL said you have to do the biometric thing to get in, that's where this is headed. They're doing it now with cops, and it's being shared. You'll hear them at 1:30. Their objection with all kinds of groups, just as we mentioned. And the NFL is going to say, well, then you're not going to do it. We'll get somebody else. What else can they dictate? They've already taken away the kickoff. They put in some other cockamamie thing now, calling it a kickoff. It's just stunning to me, the hold that the NFL has. I just, Dan, I admit this, though. Confession. It's easier for me because basketball is my passion, my sport.
Yeah.
So if it were not, then I say if football is your passion, then you got to do what they want. That's what this comes down to, because they're going to keep doing it.
So let me turn on you then. If the Sixers required that next time you wanted to go see a game with Luke or DJ, you had to pass through one of these biometrics, would you do it?
I'm not doing the biometrics. No. I can't. It would just, I saw Dom there. We got his data. No, I'm not doing it. But that's a good counter. All right, 855-839-1210.
Hey, we got a very knowledgeable source that says, discussing our side question, what's masculine in 2024. Ro Giordano checks in, the wife of Dom Giordano herself.
She's not calling, though.
No, but she texts saying, "Hi, Dan. Opening the car door for a woman is polite and manly still, smiley face." Writes, Dom is manly, particularly when calling taxis and when opening the car door, smiley face. Dancing, in parentheses, which she does not do, is also very manly to me. Hint, hint to him, smiley face.
Okay, now, Dan, you agree with me. Faces. Dancing is not manly, right? It's a good way to get women, but it's not manly.
Did you watch breaking at the Olympics?
Oh, it was
it's not manly.
Horrible. No, it's not manly. Yeah, it's not, bro. You lose on that
one.
Well,
she's more thinking the vein of like Dancing with the Stars ballroom dance. She's been pushing for you to take lessons for the longest time and I refuse to.
Oh, God.
Why won't you
I can do the Tucker Carlson. I'll sit in the chair and the woman dances around you. That was an all-time dance.
All right. Sean Spicer did with his highlighter green shirt?
Oh, God. 855-839-1210. Jump in now. We'll take your calls next on Talk Radio 1210.
Talk Radio 1210's Huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. is moving to Thursday, September 12th. Join Dom Giordano as he talks to Donald Trump Jr. about all things Trump. Just 2 days after the planned presidential debate. The new date, Thursday, September 12th at Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. Your tickets include a copy of Letters to Trump by former President Trump. A cash bar will be available. Get your tickets now at 1210WPHT.com. That's 1210WPHT.com.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey pet parents, the summer season is here, and that means it's time to get outside and enjoy some sunshine with your pet. Hi, I'm George Parenti, the lead dog at the Dogs and Cats Rule stores. The stores are loaded with great summer collections of outdoor and interactive toys. We carry the finest selection of fresh diets, like gently cooked, raw, freeze-dried, air-dried, dehydrated, baked, and of course traditional kibble and cans. Dogs and Cats Rule with 7 neighborhood locations. Visit dogsandcatsrule.pet. That's Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering the C40 lease for 36 months for under $500 to qualified buyers. This is a really fun Volvo to drive. We also have a huge selection of certified Volvos. And what about $15,000 off when leasing a 2024 XC90 hybrid? This is an incredibly fabulous Volvo. It's the Volvo I drive. Visit us here at Cherry Hill Volvo for the attention and respect you deserve.
What if I told you your home movies are already past their prime? It's true. The magnetic tape used in VHS and camcorder tapes only lasts between 10 to 20 years, which means your baby's first steps, weddings, and family vacations are fading away as we speak. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box stops this fading process in its tracks. And by preserving your recordings, they're safe forever. Legacy Box is simply the best way to preserve your past, which is why they've been trusted by over 1 million families. Your memories are meant to be shared, not chewed up by the VCR or worn away with time. For a limited time, you can convert your tapes to digital for just $9 a tape. There's never been a better time to convert your entire collection. That includes film reels and photos too. Visit legacybox.com/value to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/value to unlock our $9 offer. legacybox.com/value.
For the pulse of the city, even if it ain't pretty.
The Dom Giordano program.
On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Great side question today. Love it when it comes from listeners. Something that is still manly. Alan in Hamilton. This one I want to register is against my better judgment. I've been overruled.
I'm forcing you to take this one, Dom.
By Colonel Dan on this. I made it not Major Dan, but you're a colonel now. Alan in Hamilton. All right, Alan, what's yours?
The prostate gland.
Yep.
If you don't take care of that, you'll lose your life. So a very masculine thing to do is take care of your prostate gland.
It's a great,
very nice.
Great PSA there, Alan.
That's a nice.
Get your prostate checked.
You know what? He had a different name for it, but aside from that, the prostate gland and not shaving in November, that whole thing, right, is sent in with it. I think Waltz would do a great prostate gland PSA. That guy. Oh my God, how I despise. I know people think it's funny, Dan. Certain people I fixate on. These people that fixate on Hillary and all. I've told you many. I don't. That's not it. This guy, though, is such a clownish figure. He kicks his foot up when he shakes hands with Harris, like he's a rockhead or something.
Yeah.
And this guy's manly. This is the guy, you want to see a man in 2024. Look at Waltz. Look at Tampon Tim. That's a man. That's what the look is. All right, let's go to Meg in Bucks County, Talk Radio 1210, not Megan Brock. Another Meg. Hi, Meg.
I always have to clarify. Hello, Don. I love your show.
Thank you,
Love
Meg.
your background.
Thank
I
you.
know you're Catholic. You're a teacher. The whole package to discuss this. So I immediately had to hop on when I heard you talking about cell phones in classrooms. Abington, you say, has kind of put the kibosh on it. Good for them. Shame on the Catholic schools in Bucks County. I will not name the high school that my child attends. I did ask. I mean, I am hearing stories. Kids are watching movies. They're doing everything in class with the phones except paying attention. I fail to understand. I cannot understand why phones are allowed in class. I was told.
Go ahead, Meg.
Right,
Yeah.
So I was told, because I cannot understand, some parents just have that fear about a school shooting, which, let's be honest, getting a hold of your kid is not going to change the outcome, number one. Number two, I was told that some kids have anxiety, so the parents will fight for them to have the phone in class. Again, backwards, because we know the phones cause anxiety, so you're going to hand them the anxiety-causing device to
Meg,
try to...
and let me interrupt and
stop it.
say that is exactly on point. And Abington is banning them or semi-banning them because of that big
Good for
study that
them.
was out. You know, the study that said recently it causes anxiety.
Well, of course it does. I didn't need a study to tell me that. Now, come on now. And again, and I also heard that some teachers will not enforce it because they don't care or they're okay with it. For the life of me, I can't understand it. If I was a teacher, I would be confiscating and sending kids to the office. I wouldn't tolerate it for 1 second.
Thank you, Meg, very much. Well, look, Catholic schools too, Dan. That's surprising because, you know, the level of discipline, things like that, you're not getting away with stuff usually. So the parents are afraid of anxiety. Yeah, well, that's the point. That need of the phone at all points causes it. Or is it caused with some kids? That big story that, look, I'm not going to publicize that guy. He wouldn't deign to come on with Dan and come on to Reading, Writing, and Reason, so I won't say his name. But it moved a lot of people to realize this is a causal element. All right, coming up, we're going to talk with the police, the head of the police union or association in Las Vegas. They're making news because they're protesting working Raiders games over the NFL's new protocols that involve getting your biometric data in order to be a cop helping at the games. And where would that go? Would you go to an NFL game if they said, we're going to take your biometric data? That's the only way you can get into the game. All that straight ahead at 855-839-1210. Are you constantly searching for an extra energy boost? As we age, our bodies produce less of the natural fuel needed to combat fatigue. Discover Rescue Orosine from Rescue Natural Supplements. Rescue Orosine helps enhance energy production at the cellular level, supports a healthy heart, maintains optimal blood pressure. Plus, right now, our exclusive radio offer for listeners can take advantage of a special offer, a buy one bottle of Orosine, get another completely free. All you have to do is use the code FUEL when placing your order. To place an order, visit res-q.com or call 800-26-ALIVE. Again, that's 800-262-5483. Speak with a knowledgeable rescue product consultant. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Remember, use the code FUEL at checkout. And again, mention the code FUEL when you call or use it at res-q.com. Get that second bottle of energy-boosting Rescue Orosine totally free.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me. 40 days up to 40 pounds. Shed that summer vacation weight by reaching out to NJ Diet. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days and without any shots. NJ Diet is all natural. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose that weight. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations in Newark, Delaware, King of Prussia, and Cherry Hill, or available worldwide with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consultation today by going to njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
Tomorrow's 640 Phillies Nationals game can be heard on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Phillies are on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT tomorrow.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
The pleasant mid-August weather pattern continues through the rest of the work week. Mixture of sunshine and clouds today, warmer but not humid, high 87. Tonight, mostly clear, comfortable, low 68. And for Thursday, another warm day but still not humid with some sunshine and a high 87.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Mind your own business. Mind your own business. Because if you mind your business, you won't be minding mine.
All right, I guess that plays into, you want to get into an NFL game, at least if you're a cop, they'll share your biometric data. You're already doing them a favor by having law enforcement there to help people enjoy the game. Let's talk on the Dom Giordano Show with the president of the Las Vegas Police Protective Association. Steve Grammas joins us on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Steve, welcome in. You know, it's hard for me to say the Las Vegas Raiders. When I read that today, I'm thinking, what the heck happened here?
You don't say it to a guy from Las Vegas, Dom.
No, I mean, but it's Oakland. It's Oakland forever, you know, so...
No, for sure. Listen, first and foremost, thank you for having us on the show, Dom, and highlighting this issue that we're dealing with the NFL. It is interesting to say the Vegas Raiders, and you know, it's still taking a few years to get it right. But I'll tell you what, they're great people, great organization, very supportive of us, and you know, they understand our little battle here with the NFL.
How's it taking hold there in Vegas? Is the camaraderie growing around the team? Is there a lot of local love for the Raiders already?
Yeah, you know, they're doing all the right things. They get out in the community. They do stuff with the young community, the schools. They've done many things with us. We play an annual police versus fire tackle football charity game. They're always involved in the game with us. They're just amazing people, and that's the right model. Get in with the community first, and then everything else will fall in line, and everyone's supporting them here.
Yeah, exactly. So as I am with my producer, Dan, we have this ongoing debate about, come on now. They're taking your biometric data. It starts out here in Philadelphia. The Phillies did it. It wasn't mandatory with people. But with the police who are already kind of volunteering, offering their services, why does the NFL want to do that?
You know, it's an interesting dynamic for what's going on. You know, what they're telling us and what we're learning is that they want to have better control over access to certain areas of the stadium when the officers are working. And my counter to that is that, listen, we're professionals going there to do a job. We're not going there to watch a ball game. And we're not trying to hang out at the pretzel bar or go have a beer. We're there keeping the public safe, the players safe, the coaches safe. And we take our job seriously. And any thought that our folks are need to be corralled by biometrics from venturing off is offensive, and that's why we got involved in this fight.
So, Steve, it seems here the NFL doesn't give due credit to cops here. At least they think you're going to be distracted or glomming on the players or pretzel bars or something versus, scanning the crowd, using your professional judgment, being a deterrent force.
You're absolutely right. And it's funny. I said this to a couple of media outlets yesterday. When the president of the United States comes to town, we don't have to submit biometric data to anybody. We're on duty. We're in uniform. We do our job. We protect the president, the vice president, whomever it is, and the event's over. And we do the same for our Raiders. And for the NFL to assume that we need to be controlled more is, like I said, it's offensive and it's absolutely unnecessary.
You've done a good job, too, of distinguishing between the team and the NFL attitude. And, Steve, I'm a big sports guy my whole life, South Philly, which you may or may not have heard about. It's competitive beyond belief. But I do have a problem with the NFL throwing their weight around. They believe they can do anything. So what's the fear of the biometric data? Why not submit to that? What are you afraid of?
Well, first and foremost, listen, people have a right to the privacy of their image or any digital fingerprinting or anything like that. It's always their call. It shouldn't be inherently thrust upon them to come to work and have that turned over. But the truth is that one of the big concerns for us is in the release from the NFL, it says that we have the right to turn over any biometric information to our partners, our vendors, all kinds of third parties that we have no idea who they are. And a lot of police officers believe that the NFL may be in partnership with people that are anti-police. And giving them biometric data on police officers could lead to loss of safety for those officers in their private time, their families, their homes. There's a lot of issues that could go along with this that, again, it's unnecessary.
It definitely is. And Steve, you just said, I'm from a cops family up and down the line, and all kinds of sisters, father and stuff, prosecutors, So what you just said there, wow, if there's any hint of that, and that's a broad general fear when we don't know who partners with what or what excuse, and all we need is to see some cop then harassed or even worse because of this.
You're 100% right. These police officers across the country go out, they risk their lives for people that they've never met and that they probably will never meet again. But there is a small subsect of our communities that try to target police officers whenever they can. And again, we don't know who these partners are, and we don't know what the intentions of the employees of those partners are. We know, even in law enforcement, we have bad apples, right? In every profession, they're there. And so the NFL could say, hey, we're never going to turn over this information. It's only going to stay with us at the NFL until some staff member at the NFL has a family member that's arrested by an officer and doesn't like them and then starts to get into the system and turn over information. We see kind of the wackadoodles across the country doing crazy things. And it wouldn't be that far from the truth to see something like that happen. And I can't let my officers fall into that, and I'm very thankful. My sheriff, Kevin McMahill, is 100% behind us and has expressed that to the NFL as well.
Steve, are you aware, is this an NFL policy across the board, or are they only doing it in Vegas?
No, it's very funny you mentioned that. So we have put this out to our national delegation, which represents the NYPD, Florida. There's a lot of high-end sports towns involved. And what we're getting back is that they're finding out their agencies may have agreed to this and never informed them or never took a deep dive into what was in those agreements like we did. And when I say we, every good leader knows they're not the one that solves the problems. Guy, Brian Yant, that works for me, is an amazing man, and he took those documents and he went through them with a fine-tooth comb, and he pulled all these issues out. And if not for that, we may be in the same boat. And what we're finding out now is our counterparts across the country are going, uh-oh, we think we agreed to this but didn't know what was in it, and no one told us. And so there is going to be a groundswell from other agencies, I think, that you're going to see from this.
Steve, if you would, too, you have in touch with Dan, and you just said the Philadelphia Eagles are enormous here. and I'm not saying it's them, it's the NFL again. Maybe our cops in Philadelphia agreed to it unknowingly. If you hear of any, we'd like to know on our end. We'll try to ask around, at least to have them look at whatever the agreement is, because I think most NFL stadium have some part-time cops, right?
Correct. And, of course, I'm representing the officers, right? The officers go in there to work.
Right.
But I can foresee a lot of privacy people potentially having issue if this is going on with other folks. Who knows whose biometric data is being stored and kept by the NFL. But as it relates to officers, to your point, we're going there to do a job. We're not having fun. We're not having a beer. We're not enthralled by the fact that, like with Philly, you guys snaked my running back, Saquon Barkley. I'm a Giants fan. I was born. I was born in New York.
Well, you have a right to be it. Now, if you were a Cowboys fan, it's big trouble.
No, thanks. I'll be in the cellar for quite a while here with my team. But, but we're going there to do a job. We're not spectators. We're professionals. You know who we are. We've had extensive background checks. We've had extensive training on what we do. And then to be told we also need your biometrics as a part of heightened security is nonsense.
Yeah, Steve, thank you very much for coming on and what you guys do and how you represent them very well. We want to stay in touch on this, and we'll let you know if we find anything out.
Absolutely, guys. Enjoy the coming preseason games and the regular season. No matter what argument I have with the NFL, I'm a football fan. I've played football from the time I was 5 years old.
What position did you play, Steve?
You wouldn't tell it by looking at me, but I was a high school quarterback, and as a young man, I played defense. But,
all right, let me ask you a question. Now, Dan, remember, tell my producer, this is an ongoing thing here, Steve. You're a professional, Dan. Listen to this guy, how professional, his analysis, his judgment. He's sizing me up, and he's a quarterback. Do I sound like a guy who can throw a football 40 yards?
I can't pass that judgment. Because if you looked at me, you would say, Steve, you're a right guard through and through. I don't care what you tell people. My coach used to laugh. He'd say, Steve, if you roll out it, you've turned from a quarterback to a fullback. You have no speed. You have no lateral movement. All I do is just try and run guys over.
How far could you throw a ball, though, Steve, when you were playing?
I'll tell you, I can spin a ball. I could put a ball out there probably 55 yards, and my short distance is pretty sharp. Very, very funny story. Just recently, I spoke at the J.D. Vance rally. Not to get political, but I was speaking at the J.D. Vance
political.
rally.
Feel free to.
Yeah,
feel free.
Come on.
Go for it. Yeah, you're among friends.
And I'm in the back waiting to go on, and Sam Brown is running for Senate here in our state. And Sam goes and finds a football. And he says, hey, anybody play catch or throw? I said, man, you're right up my alley. So him and I tossed the ball for about 5 to 10 minutes with each other, and he's got a good arm. He's a kid that played ball out in Texas, and we had a good time. It was pretty fun.
I sound like 55 yards to me easily, Dan. I'll take that.
It's funny you said, and Sam Brown, if you're unaware Sam Brown is running for Senate out there, go look into the guy's story. Purple Heart recipient, just an amazing story out there. It's cool you mentioned him there,
Hey, Steve, please come back. We'd love to have you back on, and we'll follow up on this.
Anytime, guys. I appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, Dan, this is the joys of radio, though. Now, remember, we had an NFL defensive back, and he wasn't as hard as Steve was. Remember, and he said, you sound like you can throw it 40 yards.
Yeah,
Come
he was
on.
being kind, though. I mean,
well, that's true. I don't care. I got it as an endorsement. Now, Ron Jaworski might be on the show soon because we're doing that big charity event for Protect Our Coast with Robin Schaefer. I plan to bring a football there and just take a pointer or two. I'm sure it'll add 10 yards of my throw, Dan.
Sure it will.
So I'm thinking, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, it's next week. Mulligan's, the next Mulligan's is rumored to be August 30th. By then, I might be able to do it this time around. Remember how cold and windy it was the other day we did it? That threw me off.
Yeah, your excuses. I know all of them.
Yeah, and you threw in flip-flops. I don't think that's legal. I'm not
but
counting
somehow
that
I was
throw.
able to make it 40 yards.
You're this guy, 55 yards. That's pretty impressive. Wow. All right, so are cops in Philadelphia aware of this? We'll ask around. If our cop friends are listening, John and others, you're the union. Are you aware Are the police that'll be at Philadelphia Eagles games, home games, are they signing off to give their biometric data through the NFL to people that might use it in a way that's negative? 855-839-1210. Dan, thanks for getting him. That guy was great. That is the interview of the week, particularly when he said, who knows who has that data? Well, it's the NFL. They can do whatever they want, and we have to comply, right? 855-839-1210. Love to get your response to that. Dan, do you think we went overboard there, or are you a little bit on board with this?
With the whole police and the mandatory aspect of it?
Yeah.
I'm with you. And, yeah, it's
well,
tough.
The fear is that, by and large, nobody's going to get that data.
Yeah.
But, again, there's all sorts of people and situations and motivations to use the data once it's there. I think that's what people are afraid of.
Well, that's the big thing. Is essentially a vessel for a government that's not trustworthy at this point to collect data on individuals.
Or little moles that are inside the government. Not even the government. You know what I mean? That they feel that they're doing a service by doing something with your data.
I would think if we unfurl, the entire thing, it leads to a social credit system, and it's,
that too. Exactly.
It's a frightening future, but
yeah.
Again, it's technological advancement. It's progression of time. We as conservatives, are we doing a disservice to ourselves by running away from the issue rather than talking about it and saying we need to get the hell ahead of this stuff?
Well, I'm trying to. That's why I'm talking about it.
I think you're doing a great job. I think there's a lot of close our eyes to it, wrong. Yeah.
No, I think drilling down and seeing where is it that I can convince people on, to your point. Oh, boy, I got to take a moment here. Dan, can I go to this? Well, now, a call coming up. We'll have Dan time.
No, take it.
Yeah, do you see line 6? This might be a winner.
Yeah, that might be the winner.
Bias.
Yeah.
It might be. All right, Joe in Bordentown. Joe, what is still manly?
It would be sitting in your Barca lounger with a paisley smoking jacket and ascot awaiting the arrival of Joe from Exton.
Nicely played, Dan. I thought he was going to say your wife bringing you a martini or something.
Yeah, or pina colada.
Pina colada. Oh, there you go, Ro.
That's spread to my house now.
The pina colada?
Yeah, ever since Ro, developed that obsession, and now you're making pina coladas at home. We are too.
It is an obsession, though, with her out there on the road in New York.
I've gotten creative. I added strawberries to one, like fresh strawberries, and make a strawberry pina colada. Or
She's listening now, Dan.
I added
Come on.
banana and some Hershey syrup and had a banana chocolate pina colada.
You're one of those guys that makes it bad for the rest of us.
I'm sorry.
Your label is that. One of those
Ro
guys.
is listening, too.
Oh, yeah. We have the strawberries at home. Tonight I'll be in strawberry duty. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you jump in. Dan Time with Dom. At 2 o'clock, Linda Kearns. I'll tell you what that's about. That's a good one, though, the Barco Lounger. Hey, what are your favorite NFL future bets? Tons of different player props like passing yards, TDs, receiving totals. They're all out there. And great team markets like who will make the playoffs. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins due to FanDuel. And there's no better place to get ready for the football season than on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook and official sports betting partner of the NFL. So just visit FanDuel.com/DOM, D-O-M. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online, real money wager only, $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets. They expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Next week, all eyes will be on Chicago for the Democratic National Convention, and Rich Zioli will be there.
Raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Listen afternoons 3 till 7 all next week for the latest news, excitement, and drama as it unfolds. Rich Zioli live from the Democratic National Convention. Afternoons 3 till 7 all next week. Only on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
At the next Crash Proof event, you will learn how our proprietary Crash Proof retirement system includes inflation fighters that can increase your income up to 35% or more to fight rising costs without depleting your nest egg.
Geraldine Chiadetti from Warrington, Pennsylvania. Crash Proof puts a smile on my face
every day. I sleep well, and it even put a bigger smile on my face today when I got my 13%. The interest we receive from Crash Proof is credited interest. I'm not worried about inflation one bit. We get Crash Proof income, but guess what? Your principal still doesn't go down because your interest from your money is making more money. When I was told we made 13%, my husband looked at me and I looked at him and we did the happy dance.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn September 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hi everyone, Matt here from Emmons Roofing and Siding. There are a lot of companies out there that say they do roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Some good, some not so good. Be careful of those that say buy two, get two free. Does that really make sense? Think about it. At Emmons, we don't offer gimmicks, just quality products installed by our experienced craftsmen. We do offer 12 months, same as cash financing though. That's not a gimmick. That's because we know how tough it is for some people right now to get these projects done. If you need roofing, siding, or windows and doors, call us for a free estimate today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
At Gerhardt's Appliances, we're all about summer, so we're on the boardwalk asking you, how can we make yours better?
Oh, okay, bet. Yeah, so I've been blending up my own fruity beach balls and been having major dishes. It's like grade A granola greens.
Okay, well this Bosch dishwasher is on sale for $4.99, and they have the industry's most advanced clean.
Oh, acai. Yeah, that's a great price.
The summer sale is on, only at Gerhardt's, where small business is kind of a big deal.
Wow.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's Dan time.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
With Dom.
That's right. It's that time of the afternoon. Producer Dan takes over the Dom Giordano program for some Dan time with Dom and Dom. Tomorrow is the beginning of Mondegreen, the big fish festival taking the place of Firefly down there in Delaware. And Dom, Dover police sent out an alert. Surprise, surprise. Alert for drug use at fish concert. Who would have ever thought, you know? So, Dom, today, also news, Jalen Hurts donating air conditioning to 10 Philly schools. The Inquirer write-up, though, headline, these 10 Philly schools are getting air conditioning thanks to Jalen Hurts, but 63 schools citywide are still sweltering. Why the hell can we not get air conditioning in these schools? Why do NFL players have to step in and pay for it, Dom?
That's the age-old thing. Again, remember every year they tell us toilet paper, and there was toilet paper sitting somewhere because they're incompetent, because they're screw-ups. And again, I commend him. That is a very direct use of the money, not some program or something else. Air conditioning in those schools. Now, will they be effective? We'll see. I think he gave $200,000. It's very commendable. What about the others, though? Where's the money? Where does all that money go? They're never asked by the media, who thinks, Dan, that you and I are off. What do you mean all that money? It's not enough.
Yeah, unintended consequences of Jalen paying for this highlights the incompetency of the Philadelphia Department of Education here, Dom. And incompetency and, unintended consequences rearing their ugly head with the driverless cars out in California, Dom. Company Waymo has began leasing parking lots to store their driverless cars, when they're out of action. So obviously they got to idle somewhere, right?
Right.
But they have programmed into their system that whenever another car is nearby to toot their horn to kind of let that car know. So now all these cars are being jammed in this parking lot, idling, not realizing that other driverless cars are there, and they're tooting their horns at each other every 3 to 4 seconds, starting at around 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, my God.
And nearby people are starting to complain, Dom. So unintended consequences from those driverless cars. That's all I got for Dan time, Dom.
Well, you know what? We needed a longer Dan time today with that.
Oh, I got more if you want it.
You don't know the thrill I have that they're failing. I never want it to work. I don't want to be in the Jetsons. That's right. They can't drive as well as humans. I know how bad some humans are, but there's an example. We're not honking our horn every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
There's a car near us.
Would you take a driverless shuttle down to the Navy Yard?
Yes, to mock it. I'll tell you something I would never do. I would never be chauffeured around. I used to bristle. Hey, shove over, buddy. I actually said it to one driver, Dan. Sir, your car is here. When you do a Fox hit or something.
Yeah.
I don't want a driver. I like the car and all that. That's easy. Let me drive. They didn't agree to
Hail
that.
a taxi and tell the taxi driver to get the hell out of the driver's seat.
You know what? That's a very manly move.
Right?
Hey, taxi, shove over. I'm taking 7th Avenue.
Grand Theft Auto, you toss him out of the driver's seat.
Yeah, I waited till the guy turned because I didn't like the traffic on 8th Avenue, and I wanted to get to 9th. He wouldn't go for it. I think he got away with a little bit too much there.
And one more development. I texted Ro the pictures of those special pina coladas. And I said, this is what you've done to us. And she just responds, where are the pina coladas?
Wow. Right.
I guess she just likes hers all natural.
Yeah, she's night, meaning into the wee small hours. Why do that? Well, Linda's got some answers to that. Do these people not know we're trying to restore faith of some sort in the election, right? And again, they go against this. What am I supposed to do when I think, hey, the vote won't be done that night? Why? All right, Linda Kearns is on that. She's next on Talk Radio 1210.
Hi, it's John Ashdale, the Car Czar from Colonial Hyundai. Over the last few weeks, we've watched the best of the best go for the gold. Here at Colonial, we sell the best of the best, providing a gold standard car buying experience, proving to be the fast, easy, better way to buy a Hyundai. When it comes to selection, Colonial makes it fast. With over 200 vehicles in stock to choose from, we have just what you're looking for. Palisades, Santa Fe's, Elantras, Tucsons, Ioniqs, gas, hybrids, and EVs. Colonial Hyundai makes it easy to fit a new car into your budget. We have over 80 vehicles in stock right now with prices under $30,000. Drive one home today for as low as $199 per month. Colonial continues to be recognized for offering the highest trade-in values in the region. In fact, I'll give you $6,500 for your trade, guaranteed, no matter the condition. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain, and Hyundai Assurance. All this makes shopping at Colonial better. Shop us online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com. Colonial Hyundai, the faster, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai.
Offers include all rebates and incentives. Vehicle must be purchased at dealer listed price. See dealer for full details.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Homeowners, improve your family's comfort with a Bradford White water heater and enjoy all the hot water your household needs. All day, every day. With Bradford White, you get more than just a water heater. You get our commitment to quality and reliability that you can trust. How you heat your water matters, so don't compromise when it comes to your home or your hot water. Bradford White water heaters are built to be the best because your home deserves it. Visit BradfordWhite.com to learn more and find an installation pro near you.
Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is known for being South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. Choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area or have their master jewelers create a one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at FamilyJewelers.com.
Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
station.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
What great stuff today. Thanks so much for being part of it. Dom Giordano Show with Dan. And Dom's Money Melody will be coming up. We got a great side question. Something that is still, God knows what Linda Kearns might say on this, Dan. Something that is still considered manly. I did like the Barco Lounger, the whole deal with that. But Joe of Exton is on brand with his coming up. We'll have that. 855-839-1210. So in the middle of all this, the Pennsylvania Department of State this week tweeted out that they're warning us essentially ahead of Election Day they might not have all the ballots counted that night, which means into the wee small hours, and we thought we remedied that. Pennsylvanians won't always know the final results of all races on election night. Any changes in results that occur as counties continue to count ballots are not evidence the election is rigged. Look, I take that as they're lecturing us. Oh, Bill, you better not be saying that. And they're causing trouble here. Why are you putting this out? How do you know you won't have them counted that night? Why go down this path again? Who's running this Twitter over there? Is it Al Schmidt? Or just doing our due diligence? What's wrong with that? And again, we're trying to have, by all accounts, as fair of an election as possible. And Linda Kearns is a national star on this, particularly here in Pennsylvania. We're in good hands as she's our defensive coordinator. She is the PA Election Integrity Counsel for the RNC. She joins us on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Linda, welcome back.
Hey, Dom. Wait, do you want me to talk about elections or do you want me to talk about what's still considered manly?
I knew you would go for that right away. Yes, what's still considered manly?
Not carrying a purse.
Oh, well, seems like a shot at you, Dom.
Wait a minute. Is that another shot at my talk radio bag that I have all my stuff in?
Well, look, I know Dan doesn't carry a purse, so I know he's manly. You still up in the air.
Well, let me ask you this, Linda. What's the judgment of a 35-year-old who carries around a backpack all day?
Yeah, backpack all day.
Missing you, I'm not sure. I don't think I appreciate that either.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew that. How about opening doors for Linda Kearns? Is that manly?
That has to happen all the time. In fact, somebody should be rolling out a carpet everywhere I go. So yeah, that's a given. Please.
Well, you know what? If when we do win, whenever they're done counting over there, Dan, put that down on your list. We'll have a red carpet for Linda Kearns.
I'd like to see my resume as professional door opener for Linda Kearns. So
no,
Linda, feel free to contact me.
Red carpet and martinis or whatever she wants when that happens. Okay, so Linda, what in the world? Now, I always think not some conspiracy or something. I always think incompetency. And Al Schmidt and the boys over there are incompetent putting stuff like this out because it's not just boilerplate. Immediately, this is out there national, and some people go too wild with it. What's your initial thought of what they did here?
Right. I was really irritated when I saw that tweet. And, for any of your listeners that also listen to the morning show, for once in my life, I'm going to agree with Greg Stalker, which he's always saying, "Don't get your news from Twitter." I don't usually agree with Greg because he doesn't like my music choices, so he's kind of on my bad list. But on this,
he's a very manly guy, though. I can vouch for you. He's very manly, yes.
But on this, Greg is right. Don't get your news from Twitter. The Department of State has had this section on their website called Fact-Checking Pennsylvania-Related Election Claims. And they've had this blurb up about not knowing the final results on election races for a very long time. For some reason, they just tweeted it out again, and I think it was really irresponsible because there was no reason to tweet it out, and I think it's a little bit misleading to voters. Additionally, no one knows how many mail ballots we're going to get in November. So if for some reason no one votes by mail or very few people vote by mail, then they will be done Election Day. So I just think that all this does is stir the pot, and that's just not useful.
And we have that, is it a law, is it a directive with the money that we've talked about a lot, where they have to keep counting, they have to tag other people in, they can't stop the count. They seem to be indicating here if there's a lull, don't think that's rigged, but it's illegal as I understand it, right?
Right. So there was a law passed in 2022 that if you're a county that takes the election integrity grant from the state, and we have 67 counties, almost all of the counties take this grant. If you take that grant, then you must start counting at 7 a.m. on Election Day and shall continue without interruption until finish, which means 24 hours a day. So that's very different from 2020 when they kept stopping overnight. So in 2020, I think they were finally near finish by the weekend or something. So here, if they have to count constantly, I think that's going to cut the time in half at least. Additionally, they have, they're constantly getting, better machines, better equipment. They also know what they're doing a little bit better with the counting because they've done it a few election cycles. So I have reason to believe that it's going to go a little bit quicker. But it's true, we may not know, and that's because the law in Pennsylvania says they can't start until 7 a.m. on Election Day. So we're different than, say, a state like Florida that is allowed to open the ballots before Election Day. So comparing us to Florida is like comparing, soft pretzels to oranges, because then one has nothing to do with the other because we have such different laws. But I don't want this to discourage voters. The voters' job is to make a plan and get out to vote and get as many people as out to vote. That's what voters should be concerned about.
Yeah, Linda, that's the bottom line. Every time we get a call like this, I entertain it, but people that, they're going to cheat. As soon as I hear that, that means you're going to give up on this. Instead, we are so much better prepared this time, both with the mail-in ballot surge, Scott Presler, Linda Kearns out there, and then you'll get some people, what about chain of custody and what abouts? You're on it as much as humanly possible and beyond, that we're on it this time. There's not Zuckerbucks. We got people watching all this. In fact, that's why this went national immediately. People jumped on it to try to send a message. We're on to this stuff.
Right. And I also have a slate of people scheduled 24/7 beginning on Election Day. As I told you last time I was on the call, my colleague, Jody Felice, your listeners know him. He's Mr. Philly GOP and very manly, by the way. That's something. He's manly, so you can put him down on that list. He's working with me to schedule people 24/7. So we're going to have observers there watching. Remember in 2020, that was a brand new law. No one really knew what the procedures were going to be. They weren't that transparent with us, but we've learned a lot since then, and we are really prepared. And
Linda, let me just interrupt and ask this then. So it's the same thing as 2020. They count at the convention center.
No. Now they have they have a new facility that they rented. It's on Roosevelt Boulevard.
Okay.
That's what it is. Yeah, but it's a similar facility.
How close can you do the watching? Remember, we went through that. You were involved in a national story with that in 2020.
Right. So the election code indicates that the watchers can be in the room, and that's interpreted differently by different judges. Different counties interpret that very differently. Some of the counties let you right up to it, like right over the people's shoulders. Philadelphia in the primary still had the gates up so that you couldn't get quite as close. The facility, though, is not as big as the convention center, so just by virtue of that, it seems to be a little bit smaller. You can get you can get a little bit closer, and I don't know what they're going to do in November. I would like to see them configure the room so that it would be more transparent, and I hope someone from the commissioner's office is listening to your show right now and taking into account that the voters, the taxpayers of Philadelphia who pay them, want transparency, and there's no reason not to configure the room so that the watchers can get a little closer and see what's going on. Sunshine is the best disinfectant.
And look, we're trying, and you are in the forefront of this, to give people, whatever the result is, a sense this was as fair as we know. And the Philadelphia Inquirer, not us, should be leading the charge saying, hey, in Philadelphia, let Linda Kern sit on your lap when you're counting if you want, or you sit on her lap, whatever. Call it the Kern's rule. You have to go overboard. We're accused of this, and they should be gone overboard to show. Look, Al Schmidt, aside from this, seems like a decent enough guy. I talked with him at Channel 6 a while ago, Linda, and I told him exactly what we're saying. You got to go overboard here. Rather than trying to suppress everything as misinformation, go overboard to show this is transparent.
Yeah, I agree with you. I certainly don't depend on the Inquirer to do that, though. Unfortunately, I wish that they did. But I can tell you that we are so much more prepared. And when stories like this go out, when things circulate like this on Twitter, I'm really concerned that like a lower propensity voter is going to say, "Well, I'm not even going to vote because it doesn't matter." Because it does matter. This election is going to be one on turnout, and the tide is turning in our favor. You talk about the voter registration all the time about how we're gaining Republican voters in Pennsylvania, and that every little bit counts.
Well,
and
Linda, to
voters
that point,
should be.
I don't know if you heard this side of it. Pressler was on yesterday. The last 3 weeks in places like Bucks County, but he said statewide, Republican registration has more than held its own or gone up versus Democrats, despite that it's legit, this Bloomlet, anyhow, for Kamala Harris. It's not in Pennsylvania resulting in massive demonstration of registration by Democrats.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. I do follow the voter registrations, and the Republicans, that they're shooting up. And, this is another reason not to necessarily trust places like the Philadelphia Inquirer. When you see, poll says Harris is up. Well, there might be 10 polls, and then they pick the one poll that says Harris is up. So, again, and it really pains me to agree with Greg Stocker, but just getting your news from Twitter, these headlines, is probably not healthy, probably not a good thing. And we just, I said this before in your show, you cannot underestimate your opponent. The Eagles won with a backup quarterback. We cannot underestimate who we're up against, but we cannot take our foot off the gas, and we just need to keep going. And, one statistic that I know is true is Republicans are gaining voters in Philadelphia. In 2016, Trump got 15.3% of the vote in Philly, and in 2020, he got 17.8%. That was a pretty big jump, and I think it's a jump again. So we're getting the percentages here and there, and it's going to take just a bunch of different percentages here and there to get us over the top.
And to that point, still looking for volunteers, and the Protect the Vote Zoom hearing is going to have, or viewing, training, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Right. So that's this Sunday. So go to protectthevote.com and sign up, and she's going to talk to people ahead of time. Last night I was actually on the Trump Force 47.com training, which is that's more of a political training where they and I encourage your listeners to sign up for that. It was really interesting how they do their get out the vote efforts, and they have Byron Donalds on to talk about it. And at the end of the training, they took some questions, and people had some really valid, legitimate questions about elections. So I was actually, I'm not even sure how many people were on this webinar, but I was actually answering questions from these people, and I was happy to do that. And the majority of them said they were so glad to hear the answers. They were so glad to hear that someone is working on these things. They do feel like that this time is different, and I want to keep that up, that this time is different, and we are working very hard.
Absolutely. Linda, for volunteers and information, where do people go again?
Please go to protectthevote.com. We need a lot of people in the polling places to watch the canvass. You sign up your friends, your neighbors, anyone who can give time on Election Day. It is so important. Protectthevote.com.
All right, and more manly comments. Greg Stocker, check. Open doors for Linda Kearns. I do not have a man purse. It's a bag. And Dan's wearing a backpack, which is third world here. Come on now.
But I have a beard.
Well, I didn't know he was like a high schooler. I thought he was. But I will be I did buy tickets for the Don Jr. event, so I expect someone there holding the door for me. So if you can,
make a note on that. Okay, we'll have a note on that, Linda. We'll see you there. Thanks, Linda.
Okay, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Linda Kearns here. Thank you for buying tickets to that. People can get their tickets at 1210WPHT.com. It's going to be a fabulous night. The other big event coming up, though, is Mulligan's. I believe it's going to be August 30th. I'll wait till formally our last fling last year. That was now the best Mulligan's ever is when the power went out in the whole world and Mulligan's still went on. Jim Kelly was back here. Tommy McDonald was there. We were hooked up to a car battery. I was on phone at one point. I'm not sure. There was a beeping the other time I was on. What an event. That's Mulligan's. That's the greatness of it. Okay, you got the side question going on. Coming up now, I think J.D. Vance has found his voice here, is doing very well, the Sunday shows and all that, and Walls is one of the reasons why. The military stuff. We have this feud going on because I thought Kellyanne was coming back to the Trump campaign. She's registered as a foreign agent or a lobbyist, if you will, for the country of Ukraine. And people are thinking, is that why she's going after J.D. Vance? I'll give you the details on that. It's kind of messy. But first, it's time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
So the money gone.
Yes, another big prize today. Today, you'll have a chance to win a $50 Burger King gift card. Embrace the heat this summer with the all-new fiery menu now available for a limited time at participating U.S. Burger King restaurants. Dan, what do you have?
Dom, a lot of very manly voices, but I think there's one gruffly voice that stands among the rest, and he wrote and performed for the second season the theme song of one of our favorite songs. So I'm going to go back to the roots of Money Melody, where I play a very short segment of a song, very well-known song because of that TV show that we love so much. And we want to know who the singer, the writer of the song is, Dom, a very manly voice. Take a listen.
When you walk through the garden, you gotta watch your back.
So I'm gonna do. That's all I'm gonna do.
Yes, that is one of my favorite openers of all time. I don't know how you can beat it.
Yeah.
All right, hit us with that, and you're off with a $50 gift card to Burger King. 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on Talk Radio 1210.
Well, I beg your pardon. Walk the straight and narrow track.
Hey everyone, it's Donald Trump Jr. Join me and Dom Giordano Thursday, September 12th at the Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood, New Jersey for the next Politics and Pints with WPHT. We will talk all things Trump, the 2024 election, and my father's book, Letters to Trump. South Jersey and PA suburbs are hugely important to electing Donald Trump president. Just head to 1210WPHT.com for tickets right now. Hope to see you there.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
We have a man who's a warrior, a great military person. Dave McCormick is a seventh-generation Pennsylvanian who grew up in Bloomsburg, went to West Point, and earned a Bronze Star for his service in the First Gulf War. Dave went on to an outstanding career in business, and now he's fighting for the people of this Commonwealth, and he loves this Commonwealth.
Conservative Dave McCormick.
We need new leadership. We need a new president in the White House that's going to get our country back on track. We need a new majority in the Senate that's going to be able to take our country in the right direction.
Dave will vote to secure your borders, stand up to China, unleash incredible amounts of Pennsylvania energy, and he wants to stop Bidenflation. David McCormick, you have my total support and my total endorsement, and you got to win. Dave McCormick.
I'm Dave McCormick, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Dave McCormick. www.davemccormickpa.com.
Pennsylvania's statewide tobacco-free recovery initiative supports your local radio station and reminds those in substance use disorder recovery that learning tobacco-free coping skills improves the chances of long-term recovery by 25%, and that more than 70% of Pennsylvanians in recovery believe these skills are helpful to both recovery and mental health. To learn more, visit tobaccofreerecoverypa.com or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Sponsored by the Philadelphia Department of Public Health.
Tired of hearing scary ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. We may be able to significantly reduce and even eliminate what you owe to the IRS. Taxpayers should know. Huge savings are now being made available through the Fresh Start program that can drastically reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. Even if you haven't filed your taxes in years or are facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, or under audit, we can help. We've earned over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today. To see what savings you may qualify for, visit us online at TRA.com or call us at 800-511-0379, 800-511-0379. Again, that's 800-511-0379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Great. Maxed out cards, rent is due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
We should do what my brother did. He went to GetCash.com and got $3,000.
With our bad credit?
GetCash.com is different. They're one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope. My brother said it was fast and easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan of up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account as soon as the next day. Our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history.
Great news! I went to getcash.com and we'll have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to getcash.com. That's getcash.com. Getcash.com.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It's the Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
All right, great prize today on Money Melody with Dom. $50 gift card, Burger King, particularly this summer. Dan, let's hear the clue.
He's got the fire and the fury at his command.
Dom, we're looking for the original artist today, a person who supplied the theme song to one of our favorite TV shows. This was the second season, Dom, but he is the original artist. We want to know who that singer is that has a very masculine voice.
Let's go to John in Voorhees. John, who's that singer?
Is it Louis Armstrong?
No.
Good guess. He does sound like Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, but I mean, AI would have to be intervening there. When did he pass away? You know?
Good point.
John in Moorestown. John, who's singing that?
It's Red Fox.
No, not Red Fox.
Red
No,
Fox
not
was
Red
a
Fox.
singer. I mean, what are we going here? Dan, this might be another clue time. I'm just saying.
No, I think it's such a recognizable voice. Give one more person a try.
All right, let's try one more. Bob in Huntington Valley. Who is it, Bob?
That would be Tom Waits doing Down in the Hole.
All right, very nice, Bob. That is, it's one of the favorite, hard to beat. It's extensive opening to any show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than any that you can think about.
Yeah, Blind Boys of Alabama supplied the first season. He did second season with the docs and all, and of The Wire. The Wire is the TV show we're talking about.
Yeah, right. What's the best season of The Wire? At first, I don't know that I would vote for that. I'd probably say the last.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think
The
it ran
last?
out of energy. They brought everything together beautifully. That last
I think an argument can be made for every season besides the last. Yeah.
Nah, I didn't like the newspaper stuff that much. It was too fantastic.
That was the last.
Yeah.
That's the last
Oh,
season.
that's right. Yeah, that
That's
was.
the last
Yeah,
season.
okay. I didn't like
It's
that part,
terrible.
but I liked the.
The schools were so great watching the kids develop and seeing all those. But like the second season's known as one of the more boring ones, character development. But I love the second season of Docs. And
yeah.
It feels just
very Ziggy alone.
much like Port Richmond. Or,
Ziggy alone. There was something there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just too partial to the scene where they're eulogizing the main character, the cops in the bar, pretending he's dead. Yeah, that's sing the song.
But regrettably, Tom Waits joining forces with another Wire veteran, Steve Earle. They put out, with Mark Ribot, Songs of Resistance, an album against fascists and Donald Trump. So
there's that.
Yeah,
okay.
there's
Always
that
we have to
aspect
check
of it.
the
Yep.
Trump part of it in talk radio. All right, 855-839-1210. Here's President Biden. We believe it's Biden, not AI or somebody else. God knows what he's doing all day. Even more than before, he's more on the beach. This makes problems for Kamala Harris. And I'm going to tell you, we're a big event this Friday. Harris addressing inflation is going to be something that Trump should be able to take apart. 4 o'clock today, he's going to give remarks, President Trump, on the economy. And I think they're trying to get ahead of what Harris is trying to do here. Here's what, yes, I forgot to remind everyone, thank you for that, because this $50 Burger King gift card gives us the question they ask right now at Burger King's, can you handle the heat? Because Burger King is serving up bold flavor and spice this summer with the all-new fiery menu featuring the fiery bacon Whopper, fiery chicken fries, fiery strawberry and Sprite made with fiery strawberry puree, and more for a limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. It's a fiery take on your BK favorites with spice levels from mild to wild, so everyone can have it their way. You know, the participating stuff just for a period of time, Dan. The spice stuff is starting. The pumpkin spice started yesterday. Even on CNN, they were attacking.
I love pumpkin spice. I'm so happy it's back.
I don't know why.
It's August. It's about time.
The allure of it. I guess it sells more product to say only for a short period of time. But if it's that good, wouldn't pumpkin spice
No, because you get
last
over
all
it.
year?
It's one of the flavors that you get over after a while, I feel like. So, yeah, I feel like the hype needs to be there.
Is there an item that they only do for a limited time, though, that you think would carry the whole year? There's probably several of them, right?
You know, the one thing that I think, and I hate that it's only, I love like mint flavors combined with chocolate. And when you get around Christmas time, you get all the peppermint barks and the peppermint chocolates. I think that could definitely be a year-round staple. I guess it is to a degree, like Andes and all, but they're just not. York peppermint patties are kind of popular,
I like
but they're
chocolate
not
chip
as popular
mint.
as they should be.
Yeah, I think mint is a pleasant flavor. I could go for that. Okay. So Joe Biden kind of raining on Harris's parade. On Friday, she's going to separate from the Biden approach, which is to be too celebratory, to let you know she gets your pain. But what's the solution? I'll tell you her lame solutions in a moment. Here's President Biden today, though, saying, soft landing, we won over inflation.
Has the U.S. beat inflation, Mr. President?
Yes. I told you we're going to have a soft landing. We're going to have a soft landing. My policies are working. Start writing that way, okay? All right.
So, telling the media start writing that way or some crazy thing. In other words, he's saying 2.9% inflation month over month, year over year, and only 0.2 is a soft landing. It's right where. Why did we go through all this then? Why are his policies working again that we had to go through this misery at the grocery store, which we're still going through? And anyone that listens to talk radio knows it's not this slight drop. It's what's baked in already by these policies. All right, so on Friday, Vice President Harris now is going to give us the first part of her agenda. She's going to be in North Carolina. That's why Trump is addressing the economy today. And she's going to talk about, her background and how that plays into stopping inflation. So she's going to go all out to let you know it's not like Biden, where we're going to be celebrating things. She has your back. She worked at McDonald's and all. She knows what's going on in the grocery stores. But what is the solution? That's all that we want to hear. She could do that in 2 minutes.
Okay. All right.
What's the policy? What's the solution? She's going to pivot to where I predicted it the other day. On the border, what did she say? A, I was a prosecutor. I'm the only one that prosecuted these drug gangs. You're not going to tell me about the border. And B, I would have signed that bill that was the toughest border bill ever. Now, the media lets her get away with it. It's not in a debate. She's not doing a follow-up question in the interview. So she's going to roll with that again on inflation. Her goal is maybe not to win on the economy and inflation, but to diminish Trump's lead on that in the minds of people. How's she going to do that? I'm a prosecutor. When I was the state attorney general, I made national news. I won $1 billion in this one lawsuit going after price fixing, going after these big corporations. The suggestion is going to be, maybe she'll even say it like Bob Casey, corporate America, big egg, big bacon. They did it to you at the grocery store. Big Snickers. She's also going to say it's landlords. It's those rotten landlords. They're going to try to do two things. They're going to try to pick out these villains that progressives have made up over the years, including landlords. And two, around the edges, they're going to give you these little policies, nickel and diming, the junk fees thing that Biden always says. You wake them up, junk fees. That's the plan. I know you're saying, well, how do you get away with that? Not going to take follow-up from the media. We're not into the debate yet. The secret sauce is, I am the prosecutor, you're not. She said it to Pence. This is the tell. Several times. She's going to do two things in the debate. You never prosecuted people. How dare you say I'm soft on crime or anything else? And two, she's going to play the card that shows she's a woman in charge. Anytime there's any conversation back and forth, she'll say, I'm speaking. That's the tell line. I'm speaking now. God, it's insufferable. It's a lot worse than Hillary. It's a lot worse. Hillary would take this woman apart in a debate. But that's the field we're on. That's where it's going to be. And I'm not hearing from the Trump people enough. We'll see what he says this afternoon. This rebuttal that would put her away on this issue. This is the big issue, ultimately. Even more than the border, I still believe. How in the world are we still paying these prices at the grocery store? You're telling me we're going to continue. She's going to talk about the supply chain, too, apparently. How they fixed the supply chain, and now things are back to normal. This is all incredibly false, but it's the prosecutor aura here. And this is her way of delinking from Biden. She wants the credit for all these grandiose big projects, but she's not like Biden at the grocery store. She thinks she's going to be a lot better at saying, I understand exactly, I'm the middle class. I understand exactly what you're doing. Do I think Kamala Harris could tell us the cost of various things, Dan? No, I don't think she could. She'd be more like George Herbert Walker Bush, who couldn't tell you stuff, versus Clinton, who knew what prices were. All right, phone lines. Love to get you in on that at 855-839-1210. And the side question, something that is still considered manly, coming from a listener yesterday. All right, so it's been a real roller coaster today. By the way, the story that appeals to me the most today, Dan got on the head of the police. What a guest in Las Vegas. Have you heard that? They're saying that the NFL, in the small print or whatever, cops that do duty to protect people at the games, in some cases, I think they're paid. Sometimes they're in uniform. The city gives them cops. Their biometric data is being taken by the NFL, or they can't do it, and it might be shared with third parties, and the third parties might hate cops. Are the Philadelphia police going to submit to that? Because we believe it's an NFL rule. Now, you're hearing something here. Think of all these things coming together, Dan, that people care about. Philadelphia Eagles, the police, and this issue. Why is the other news media not covering this? We had on the guy who laid it out beautifully. You're going to hear about it in the next 24, 48 hours, I think. Why should the police have to submit to this because the NFL says so? 855-839-1210. You get in next on Talk Radio 1210.
67 overnight, partly cloudy. Mostly sunny tomorrow, high 88. Absolutely perfect. Friday, partly cloudy, high 90. Saturday and Sunday, high in the low 80s, and we're expecting rain. Looks like pretty much the same for Monday, with rain in the afternoon.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
What happens when Washington liberals spend trillions of dollars? Just look around. Prices are way up. They pushed a bunch of reckless spending, and Senator Bob Casey voted for it. Now we're paying higher gas prices, higher grocery prices, and higher utility bills. Casey helped create this mess by voting with President Biden 98% of the time, including voting for trillions in wasteful spending. Instead of listening to the warnings, Senator Casey sided with the liberals, causing this inflation disaster. Casey voted to let illegals take your tax dollars. He voted to let illegals collect $500 million in COVID relief checks. It's more for illegals and less for us. Come on, Senator Casey. That's just not right. Call Senator Casey at 202-224-6324. Tell him to put Pennsylvania families first and fix his inflation disaster. Support S575, the Fight Inflation Through Balanced Budgets Act. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering the C40 lease for 36 months for under $500 to qualified buyers. This is a really fun Volvo to drive. We also have a huge selection of certified Volvos. And what about $15,000 off when leasing a 2024 XC90 hybrid? This is an incredibly fabulous Volvo. It's the Volvo I drive. Visit us here at Cherry Hill Volvo for the attention and respect you deserve.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me. 40 days up to 40 pounds. Shed that summer vacation weight by reaching out to NJ Diet. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days and without any shots. NJ Diet is all natural. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose that weight. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations in Newark, Delaware, King of Prussia, and Cherry Hill, or available worldwide with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consultation today by going to njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts donated 300 air conditioning units for Philly schools. Montgomery County bathrooms will now be stocked with free tampons and pads. And 7-time Grammy winner Casey Musgraves posted a no-context video of herself and her friends singing Here Come the Sixers on Instagram.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Tomorrow's 6:40 Phillies Nationals game can be heard on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Phillies are on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT tomorrow.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
from your state? Okay. Something is high somewhere. Come and run with me. It's too damn high.
I didn't know the guy actually sang that. I met him at a convention.
He has a whole rap video
about it.
The
guy ran for mayor and then for president on that. That's true. By the way, an update. We're going to have a great guest on tomorrow on this. There is consensus no longer. That's what the transgender defense that you can't defend crowd says about all these operations on young kids, some as young as 12, gender affirming, because the American Society of Plastic Surgeons has become the first major medical association to challenge the consensus of medical groups over so-called gender-affirming care for minors. That just came out in the last 24 hours or so. We have a guest tomorrow to break that down. And Kirk Herbstreit is done giving a blank about those coming after him, Dan, because he says how silly it is to have men in women's sports. And he says he's not afraid of being canceled. Question one is he cancelable, do you think, on ESPN?
The thing is, like, who's the target audience of Herbstreit? It's SEC, Southern individuals, college football.
College football, right.
You know, like, I think he's, speaking to a choir here, to be honest.
Yeah, but he's also got the machinery of ESPN there. I would agree with you. He seems not to be, right?
Yeah, I have some audio. You want it?
Yeah, let's hear him.
I got to make sure.
You've got
there might be a dump here,
Yeah.
Lee Corso used to give a speech, and one of the things he would say within that speech is he's like, don't ask me about race, religion, or politics, or don't talk publicly about race, religion, or politics. And now I think that's all anybody talks about is race, religion, or politics, and so I've tried to just, you and I've texted. I mean, I've tried to stay on the sidelines for a lot of that, but, you can only take so much until you want to start to speak up a little bit, and actually say what you think. But when I retire or get in a position that you're in, I'll be able to say what I think a lot more.
Don't come on here and bullshit me. You had to know that when you put that tweet out, there was going to be a reaction. Come on. You had to know.
I didn't give a shit. I
All right. So I know you're difficulty with that. That's okay. Yeah. He basically is, as I said, men and women's sports. And if he can be bold enough to do this, Dan, and I think he's at risk of being canceled, maybe not that much. What about people like the Williams sisters I bring up all the time, or any number of these people? I don't think Serena Williams is cancelable. That's why I have such respect for J.K. Rowling, people like that, who's being sued now by the Algerian guy who won in the Olympics, the boxing, right? You got to worry about this stuff. But I salute him, too, because he could be canceled. I know it's crazy. He's their guy on college football, SEC, all that stuff. But he speaks too much on this stuff. They don't want to hear it. Are we going to start to hear more voices on this? There's strength in numbers. It can't just be Riley Gaines. Good for him. Tomorrow, though, special guest, what does it mean that the plastic surgeons group is now saying, no, you can't be doing this stuff. You got to be kidding me. I know it seems obvious and outrageous, but it's a battle. It's a slow battle. All right, let's go to Joe in Columbus on Talk Radio 1210, Columbus, New Jersey. Hey, Joe, go right ahead.
Hey, Dom. I do have my question of the day.
Sure.
But prior to that, I just keep looking at Kamala's attempts to distinguish herself from her own administration is in itself revealing, a joke, and an implication of her own inabilities. And I think the way you got to come at her, you can do all the commercials you want, but it's got to be in a debate. And simply and briefly, whoever is, when Trump's debating against her, he should look right into the camera and say, so, Kamala, you're simply admitting to all these people out there that you hold no juice, and you continue to hold no juice.
Okay, yeah, because I see where you're going. Her counter will be, and then you're jumping ahead. I was only the vice president at that point. I have to sort of follow a policy.
she has to hold some kind of influence, or else she should have never been selected. So you could say that on top of it.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, this is what we're going to see on Friday, Joe. A little bit of that, but more. I'm a prosecutor, Joe. You're not. They got to be ready on this to counter this. Look, I think it's preposterous what Casey's been saying and they're saying. But what else do you do, Joe? What else do you do on inflation? How did it get out of it? This is the only way.
Where's the strong prosecutor personality in not being able to hold any influence? Would you give up on it, Kamala? Come on. You know, I mean, you could build on that. You could build on that big time.
Well, in this case on Friday, why were you not agitating to do this during all this inflation? Why have you not sued corporate America then? Why is it now taking this long to do that if that's the problem?
Take it into your hands. Work with your teammate over there. You have yet to exhibit that.
Exactly. Joe, what's your answer today? What's manly?
I want to be fair to you guys, so I don't know if this is appropriate or not, so I'm going to ask Dan to hold his finger over top of the mute button.
Uh-oh.
Circumcision.
It's a medical term.
That's a medical term. That's fine. Thank you, Joe. It's like the guy with the prostate gland that you thought was a really good answer.
Yeah.
The prostate gland defense.
The only thing I'd say with this last answer is there are some men out there that, you know, and
yeah, I don't know that that's unmanly.
You know?
I mean, the kid had the kid, you know, they weren't unmanly saying, no, you're not doing that to me. It was their parents.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan, you got to see Bruce in the Northeast. Let's save that one. Coming up. Oh, man. 855-839-1210, the lightning round X. Let me tell you about Captain Chucky's first, though. When you're enjoying your summer, a reminder, football games return this week and next week. The Birds play. It's preseason and a great reason to call your nearest Captain Chucky's. Get the all-new wild shrimp scampi ravioli. Chucky's teaming up with Vera Pasta, offering lobster, crab, and now wild shrimp ravioli. And remember, order that brand-new Bang Bang Jumbo Lump Crab Cake. The Bang Bang Crab Cake, a delicious, creamy 5-ounce jumbo lump breaded crab cake with a kick for those who like to spice it up with some heat. And it's a perfect time, too, to remind you as we head into football season, all of Captain Chucky's offerings. The side dishes, the desserts, the appetizers, and then the real test, all those breaded, non-breaded crab cakes, literally a crab cake for everybody. Their Golf Shrimp is a huge hit. Perfect for anything you're watching or any party, anything, never farm-raised. And my favorite, got to have on your table every night, the Dom Rolls. Visit Captain Chucky's today. There's the location near you. Go to WeLoveCrabCakes.com, WeLoveCrabCakes.com. If you're headed to the Jersey Shore, visit Captain Chucky's at the Shore.com.
Get ready for Phillies baseball.
Swung on, hit high in the air, left field. Verdugo going back to the track, at the wall. Look it up, it's gone!
This Thursday, the Phils host the Washington Nationals at Citizens Bank Park, and you'll hear them here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Our swings and rips it into right. There's a base hit past the diving Turner. The Phillies, with a 4-run frame, now lead it 5-0.
Phillies baseball, Thursday night at 6:05 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
Comedian Joe Conklin.
Ship snappers moving from Kensington to Delco?
My uncle used to sell his gallstones at the Bazaar of All Nations out on Baltimore Pike. Had a nice establishment here, 3 different dart teams and 4 leagues, video poker, and hard-boiled eggs, pickled eggs. We keep them right out on the bar there.
See Joe Conklin in Delco at the Media Theater with the City Rhythm Orchestra, Saturday, November 16th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
You're driving along when you realize...
Oh, I've got to get over. Oh my gosh, sorry.
You didn't see him, did you? He was in your blind spot. You can also have a blind spot when it comes to your retirement. That's where Joe Yakovich of JML Financial Group comes in. He knows about a little blind spot called taxes. Social Security, your pension, your investments, all can be taxable. Look, you don't want to end up saying,
will I be writing huge checks to the government when I retire?
Don't get blindsided by taxes. Make sure your retirement plan has a tax plan. With one call to JML Financial Group, 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. JML Financial Group does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.
If you're looking to furnish your home or replace your old furniture, your journey begins and ends at Bucks County Estate Traders. One piece of advice, make sure you have time when you come here. The 58,000 square foot showroom is a furniture wonderland. Quality high-end pieces with inventory changing daily. It's all here. Mid-century modern, traditional, vintage, antique, and name brands. They'll ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. Bucks County Estate Traders in Hatfield or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-790-1400. 800-790-1400.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
Right, and the lightning round, we're happy about this, sponsored by Cherry Hill Volvo. Right now, lease the incredibly stylish and fun-to-drive C40 for 36 months for less than $500 per month for qualified buyers. They always go the extra mile for their customers at Cherry Hill Volvo. Side question, something manly. Joe in Exton, who's been cited as the epitome of this, is next. Joe, what do you have today?
Yes. Hello, Don. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My idea of masculinity takes the form of a Spanish matador. In Spain, bullfighting is more than a mere sport. It is considered a ritual. The matador and his associates walk out onto the field.
The picadors, yes.
Walk out onto the field in an air of male pomp and circumstance.
Oh,
male pomp
and circumstance. Thank you, Joe. Dan, the guy is on brand. He ought to run the Trump campaign to stay on brand. Every day he hits it. So does Bruce in the Northeast. Bruce, what is yours today?
Hey, ole. Yeah, you know, my answer is actually it's a two-part answer here. It's a guy operating a jackhammer, but he's also wearing a shirt they used to call a wife beater, believe it or not. Them white T-shirts with the sleeveless thing, you know, and that's kind of pretty masculine, I guess.
Your common sight in South Philly, right?
Cigarettes are rolled up inside the left arm, Dan. That's part of it. Oh, my God.
Well, you can't roll the sleeves of a...
Well, right. Usually they had somehow they rolled those cigarettes up in there. Richard in Summerdale, who is in the top 10 all-time side question answers, sign of the apocalypse. Pump your own gas in Jersey allowed. Run, that's it. Start praying. Go to church. Richard, what's yours today?
Okay, when a guy is driving around and he gets lost, a man won't ask for directions how to get somewhere.
Will you ask for directions?
I would, yes.
I'm with you, man. Like, I'm not going to drive around in circles for hours out of just pure hard-headedness. Come on.
No, I am not asking for directions.
Why?
It's one of the most unmanly things to do.
Why is it unmanly?
Because you'll figure it out at some
just
point.
Admitting your wrong's not unmanly.
Now, I might ask Ro to ask for directions for me. I did tag her in the other night. That's a story for tomorrow, Dan. We have to decide here, though, Dan. We had great ones today. Do you see a clear winner or two or three?
From the world of biology, Dom, the prostate gland and circumcision.
God.
Yeah, they were said. The sitting in a Barca lounger from Joe in Bordentown
was a good one.
One that really stands out, though, is the whole history behind it and everything. I like Joe of Exton's Matador. I mean, bullfighting is what's more manly than standing in front of a bull charging at you.
I think but the bull has been stabbed by the picadors and all.
Yeah, but
the
still.
bull's worn down.
You want to stand in front of a bull, Dom?
You know what? You get a bull at Mulligan's, and if you volunteer to be my picador along with other producers, I will fight the bull. Yes.
All right, we're going to go with bullfighting for the day?
Bullfighting. Joe of Exton is the winner. All right. Oh, God. I love that side.
I got a great one from Earl on the board, too.
I could do that. What was his?
Fatherhood, man.
Damn. We would have been torn with that one.
Yeah.
But, Joe, the pomp and circumstance of the bullfighter coming out, Dan. Good stuff. All right, Rich Cioli has 4 big hours next to take you home. We're back tomorrow. Dan, who's one of the guests?
Alina Howe at 1.
Yes.
We'll be speaking with Eric Trump tomorrow, Dom.
All right, that's the Trump attorney. So big stuff tomorrow, noon until 3 on Talk Radio 1210.
My name is Andy Donaldson. I've been with Crash Proof Retirement since the beginning of 2014. The main reason Crash Proof is so phenomenal is there's no way that the original investment you put in is going to be any less than you started. In addition, you do get significant returns. A number of the different investment strategies that I've been involved with have given me 10 to 15% returns annually. With the Crash Proof Retirement System this year, I made almost 11.5%. It's quite a nice feeling to know that at the end of your year, whatever you've gained, the 10 or 15%, now becomes your new principal amount and you never lose it.
Learn how double-digit interest returns can be permanently compounded to your principal with no risk of loss in a legally binding, recorded financial meeting. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, September 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt. If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-649-6464 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
I am Judith Krupnik, president of Cherry Hill Volvo. I drive an absolutely fabulous XC90 hybrid, the best of both electric and internal combustion. It's really an incredible Volvo. We are offering a $15,000 discount when leasing